Tyrone Braxton, Steve Atwater in the secondary along with Lionel Washington. 2nd and 9. They dump it off to Marcus over the middle. And Allen skirts up to the 44-yard line. And Michael Dean Perry surrounds Marcus at the 44. The Chiefs will have 3rd and short.
You mentioned Perry. Now, I think he's the key. If you can single block him, that means a lot of things can happen because that Simon Fletcher is a key to rushing the quarterback and getting in his face, so you can double up on him if you want to. But Perry's been the key. When he's been out with injuries this year, defense has struggled, but when he has been in there, they have improved tremendously.
3rd down, let's call it 4 for the Chiefs from their own 44. Just underway on a cold, damp day at Arrowhead. Taking the snap, Bono looking right. On the right flat, the pass skips off the right hand of Kimball Anders, incomplete. He was covered by Tyrone Braxton. They were going for the check down pass. It wasn't there. Well covered by Denver. The Kansas City Chiefs have to punt.
That's exactly what I was talking about. He's got to get from the first series. That should have been an easy throw for Bono. At least get the ball to Kimball Anders instead of throwing it high like it was. Get it to him where he can catch it and then maybe make a move on the defensive man, maybe break a tackle and pick up the first down.
Another guy who probably should have made the Pro Bowl for the AFC is punter Louis Aguiar. He leads in most of the statistics but does not lead in gross punting. That was Darren Bennett of San Diego who was the selection. This is a poor kick. And a short kick, fair catch called for and taken by Rod Smith as they were kicking away that time from Mr. Glenn Milburn.
One's, 3 and out seems like they start the game all the time here recently. The offense has got to be better prepared and to go after people to knock them out of the way to get that first drive going. Because what it does, it builds up the confidence level of the defense that you're playing against, and it gives confidence to the offense of the Denver Broncos because they get the ball right away.
Booker, Saliamu is headed to the Pro Bowl. Joe Phillips, Neil Smith headed to the Pro Bowl in the defensive front. George Jamison, Simeon, Derek Thomas back in the lineup at linebacker today. They're going to come on a reverse to the near side, and it comes to Mike Pritchard at the 15, 20, 25. Has blockers in front of him, gets up to the 31-yard line. A gain of 8 yards on first down on a reverse play. James Hasty made the tackle. Von Booker had a chance for a big defensive
Almost
play.
Had an outstanding play by Von Booker, but out in front blocking was number 7, John Elway, and he threw a cross-body block. Had he just gotten in the face, I think it was White that just jumped right over him. That would have been a first down, but that thing was wide open after Booker missed the tackle.
Looked like Len Dawson for blocking for Otis Taylor. Single back Glenn Milburn, 2nd down and 1. They give him 9 yards on the pickup. 3 wide receivers set. 1 back sweep play left side. Milburn slips the tackle, gets across the 35 to the 36. Now they're going to say Milburn fumbled the football. The Chiefs say they haven't. They do. Kansas City jumps on a Glenn Milburn fumble at the 35-yard line of Denver. Neil Smith forced the hit and also recovered the fumble for Kansas City.
The last 12 turnovers the defense has forced has given Kansas City the ball inside their opponent's 50-yard line 11 times. Let's make it 12 now. Big hit by Neil Smith coming from behind to strip him of the football.
And Neil Smith has elevated his play to an even higher level the last month. We'll be back after this. There's a break in the action. 12:43 in the first, no score. Chiefs pick up a turnover. Now this on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
During the second half of today's game, be listening for the special Pizza Hut 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 sound. It's your cue to call 1-800-576-77FX. Caller 11 wins 2 seats in the Fox Box on the 50-yard line at Arrowhead for the last game of the regular season. Compliments of Pizza Hut.
Neil Smith forced the football loose from Glenn Milburn and then rolled on top of the football himself. The Pro Bowl players giving the Chiefs the football at the 35-yard line. Bono on first down. Hands it off right side, Kimball Anders. Has a small crease, moves up to the 31-yard line, a gain of 4 yards. Tyrone Braxton there for the Denver Broncos. On the previous play, the fumble recovery by Neil Smith. Von Booker was injured, taken off the field. Bob Gretz, what's his condition?
Mitch, I don't think it's anything serious because Von's been down here running around. Trainers and doctors have kind of walked away from him. I don't think there's anything serious with Von Booker.
Len, what about Neil Smith the last several weeks?
He's been playing great, hasn't he? He came from the backside showing his quickness to make the hit and strip the ball, but the offense has got to get going.
Keith Cash lines up as a wide receiver outside Marcus Allen to the right. Now they'll throw to Cash. And he makes the catch on a little short hook route at the 28-yard line. Gains 3 on 2nd and 6. And then is tackled by Dave Wyman.
Come up a little bit more than that. On passing situations, 3 yards. He's getting rid of that ball real quickly. Something he doesn't have to do all of the time. Particularly when the receiver goes down and stops and is looking at him. If you got a hot receiver and he's on the move to get the ball to him quickly, that's a different story.
Kansas City, of course, leads the National Football League in takeaway-giveaway ratio. Denver is 28 in the league out of 30 teams in giving the football up. In motion left side is Anders on 3rd down and 3. Bootleg. Now pass right side. Pass is caught by Lake Dawson for a Kansas City Chief first down at the 22-yard line of Denver. Great execution of the bootleg pass by Steve Bono. Randy Hilliard on the tackle.
Great misdirection. He had 3 people going on the left side and faked the run over there, then rolling out to the right side. It was a crossing pattern. We've talked about crossing patterns all year long, how difficult it is to guard a man that's going all the way from the left side clear across the field to the right side. You're always trailing him. Bono was able to get him the football. There's the first down that they need. They need to get this thing into the end zone.
He almost throws that bootleg pass better than he does when he sets up in the pocket, it seems at times. On first down at the 22, and off left side, Marcus Allen spurts through a hole and lunges forward to the 16-yard line. It's again at 6 yards on first down. Lionel Washington there for the Denver tackle.
I'll tell you something. Marcus Allen is a terrific runner. He made that spin move just as he was getting hit. That got him an additional 2 or 3 yards. He just does things automatically. I mean, you can't teach something like that. He just has got the experience and the know-how to make the right move at the right time.
And a mere child at 35.
Yes. Doesn't look like a 35-year-old runner.
10-19 left to go in the first quarter. No score. Kansas City threatening. 2nd and 5 for the Chiefs at the Denver 17. Bono under the center. Tim Grunhart looks out over the Denver defense, takes the snap, throws quickly over the middle, and a pass is caught by the Chiefs down to the 5-yard line. Lake Dawson hauls it in on a quick slant. It's a gain for the Chiefs. Down to the 5 from the 13-yard line. First down, Kansas City. The Chiefs are in business now.
That's the inside territory where he can throw against this defense because they're looking for the run. They're looking to stop the run because the last time they played the Chiefs rushed for 171 yards. So they bring that safety up there, but so there's a lot of area in the inside. Just like that, they had a slot formation to the right side, and they got Lake Dawson in there, and there was no help in the middle.
Cash and Walker both in. And dual tight ends, they both line up on the left side. As Cash is a wing. Rolling to the right side is Bono, gripping the football, running to the right post for the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City on the near corner of the end zone. Webster Slaughter, his 4th touchdown catch of the year, number 42 in his brilliant 10-year career.
A rollout to the right, flooding that right side on first down. On first down, they're coming out, letting things fall where they may. They roll to the right side, and Webster Slaughter was open, had his back to that defender, and Bono got him the ball right in the stomach. Excellent throw that time by Steve Bono. This should do a tremendous amount of good for Steve Bono to build his confidence because he's taken an awful lot of flack after that Monday night performance against the Dolphins.
Now Lynn Elliott will try a point after. Aguiar with the snap down. The kick is perfect. A perfect point after touchdown by Lynn Elliott. And the crowd roars. 9:23 left to go first quarter. Kansas City 7, Denver nothing. Now Neil Smith made Glenn Milburn cough. The football came loose. He rolled on it, and the Chiefs, Len Dawson, 35 yards in 6 plays, 7-0 Kansas City.
And the good thing is Steve Bono 4 for 4 in that drive for 26 yards and a touchdown pass.
Glenn Elliott to kick. Back deep is Glenn Milburn. He set a National Football League record last week. 404 all-purpose yards. A short kick taken by Aaron Craver, the up man at the 25. He gets to the 28 and then is engulfed. Tony Richardson is there along with Anthony Davis and also Greg Minuski there for the Chiefs.
Not a deep kick, but excellent coverage by the kickoff team. So the first time the Broncos had the ball, started off with a reverse, gave the ball to Milburn. Neil Smith stripped him of the football. Kansas City went in for a touchdown. So they are behind. Elway evidently, I think, will think, well, let's put the ball in the air. Look for more throwing now from John Elway.
I want to ask you about Webster Slaughter. It's almost like the Chiefs are looking at him near the end zone. He has been the money man for Kansas City now near the end zone the last couple of weeks. John Elway, tight end right with split backs, wants to throw in first down, sets up quickly. Crossing pattern he finds his tight end, and that is Dwayne Carswell, and he is roped out of bounds by Derek Thomas. But it's a nice gain of about 8 yards for the Broncos up to the 36-yard line their own.
There's that crossing pattern once again. Derek Thomas trailing that tight end, and Derek Thomas has got excellent speed, probably faster than that tight end, but the thing is, you're always trailing him, and Derek made the tackle after they made the reception, but it was a good first down for John Elway, putting him in second and short.
And for Denver, they are without 2 of their top offensive players today. Running back Terrell Davis is out, along with All-Pro Shannon Sharp. He's out with an injury. Milburn up the middle trying to get to the outside, and is got a first down as he runs over Dale Carter on the right boundary at the 40-yard line. Nice run by Glenn Milburn, a gain of 4 yards, and Denver's got a first down.
It was nice because it was designed to go inside. He jumped to the outside, and we know that Dale Carter has excellent speed, and he was not able to run down Milburn before Milburn had picked up the first down.
And Milburn getting the duty. Terrell Davis, 1,000-yard rusher as a rookie. In fact, he has more yards from scrimmage than anybody in the AFC. I'm talking about Davis, but now Milburn is playing for the injured Davis today. On every down, Milburn normally a third down back. He's a wide receiver this time. Comes in motion, takes it on a sweep to the left side of the field. Lowers his shoulder, gets up to the 46-yard line and gains 6 yards. On first down, Saliamua chased him down from behind.
Interesting calls. That's the second time they've run some sort of reverse to the left side offensively. What have we got a player down as that? So Jamison is down on about the 44-yard line.
And Jamison has battled injuries this week as well. Not sure he was going to be active today. He has been active and injured here early in the game with 8:15 left to go first quarter. 7-0 Chiefs.
Let's say you're a mathematician. Milburn has 3 carries for 12 yards. How many does he have to go to get over 404? Quite a bit, I guess. Quite a bit.
Let's take an injury timeout. Brought to you by Ask a Nurse, a free community center, free community service from Shawnee Mission Medical Center. You're listening to Chiefs Radio. Carswell. McCaffrey comes in motion to the left side of the field. Elway at a deep drop this time. Goes over the middle. Little delay pattern to Craver. Makes a guy miss. Gets up to the 45-yard line. Davis missed him at the 50. It's a Denver first down. Elway to Craver. And a first down for Denver at the Chief 45. Seaman eventually had to make the tackle.
Anthony Davis is getting up, moving back a little very slowly. Looks like he is hurting out there.
Gain of 10 on the play. Let's go to Bob Gratz.
Mitch, they're working on George Jamison's left arm, left shoulder, left arm.
It is survival of the fittest. It is week 15 of the season. Splitting left, flanker right. Offset eye. Elway gives it off to Milburn, trying to bounce to the outside. Saliamua chasing. So is Hasty. So is White. Out of bounds. Lost on the play of about 2 yards. A loss of 2. Good pursuit by Kansas City.
Saliamua was trying to run him down. Although Danny's pretty quick, he is not going to catch Milburn. He was able to jump outside the grasp of Saliamua. But they've been gearing their running to that side, to Kansas City's right defensive side, most of the running so far.
Saliamua named to the Pro Bowl for the first time.
Yeah, he should be. Great season.
Leader, one of the leaders on the team in both tackles and quarterback pressures. 2nd and 11 for Elway at the Chief 45. 6:55 first quarter. 7-0 Kansas City. Elway back to throw. Side straddle, now moves back, dumps it off late, throws it away. The Chiefs pressure him into an incompletion. Aaron Craver, the intended receiver, but Mickle and Neil Smith had John Elway in his cross.
The thing about that was he could not step up into the pocket. How many times have we seen John Elway step up inside where he can see everything down the field? Wasn't able to do it that time because of pressure by Saliamua and Joe Phillips, so he had to jump to the outside. When he did that, he was losing ground. He just virtually threw the football away to avoid getting sacked.
Denver lost to Seattle last week at home, and one of the reasons, the lack of third down conversions.
Yeah, they were 2 of 9 on third downs last week.
3rd and 11 for the Broncos at the Chief 46-yard line. 7-0 Kansas City, 6:49 in the first quarter. To throw Elway. Again a deep drop. Again the Chiefs chasing. Elway throws. Pass is overthrown and nearly intercepted. James Hasty had a chance to intercept at the 18. Then it went wide right. The intended receiver, Pro Bowl receiver Anthony Miller, passed too high.
He was open. He was there for the first down. John Elway, you see those feet kind of pitter-patter back there? I think it goes back to the couple of passes that he was rushed. He wasn't rushed all that much. He just threw a poor throw. Good for Kansas City.
Tom Ruin to punt for the Broncos. Jeff Robinson is the long snapper. Now, Chris Penn is back to take the punt. If you joined us late, Tamarik Vanover has a shoulder injury. He is inactive today and not playing. Chris Penn has been active for only one game this season, but really played quite a bit last year. High snap to Ruin. High kick, trying to kick for field position. Penn calls for a fair catch. He is surrounded by 6 Broncos and takes it in danger. Fair catching at the 11-yard line. 4.66 hang time. The punt by Tom Ruin, well done, 34-yard punt. Fair cut at the Chief 12-yard line. Let's go to Bob.
9300, extension 8232.
Mitch Holthus back along with Len Dawson, Bill Grigsby, and Bob Gratz. We're at Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas City leads Denver 7-0. 6:36 left to go first quarter. Marcus Allen on a first down play up the middle is across the 20 up to the 22-yard line. A gain of 10 yards on first down. Ray Crockett made the tackle. in the Broncos secondary.
Straight up the middle, they were able to block Perry, and I go to the people in the middle have done such an outstanding job. You mentioned that none of them got to the Pro Bowl, but they sure should have. They got there with Grunhart, Zott, Shields, and Alt. Sigler out there doing an outstanding job of blocking. They still got Criswell is in there right now, but right up the gut. That's where they had success the last time they played the Broncos.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
Kansas City's home for classic rock and roll of the 70s and your voice of the Chiefs. 101 KCFX, the Fox.
Back at Arrowhead, I said that Marcus Allen gained 10. He gained 9 7/8 yards.
It's a free down. It should be a free down. I mean, they got, a couple inches, an inch or so to go. By that, I mean a free down. If they want to take a shot at a play pass and go deep, now's the time to do it.
Marcus Allen's the lone setback. Walker's the tight end right. Cash is the tight end left. Webster Slaughter now lines up on the line of scrimmage. The tight end walks off and comes in motion to the near side. On 2nd down and 1, Marcus Allen gets it and gets up to the 23.5-yard line. Needed an inch and picked up 4 yards. Steve Atwater, Pro Bowl selection, was there to make the stop, as usual, for Denver.
All right, there was the running play that picked up the first down. Next time, maybe if they get in a situation like that, they'll fake it to Marcus Allen, just to keep that defense honest, to make sure that not all 11 people are up there thinking it's going to be a run. Marcus, 4 carries, 17 yards.
5:38 left to go, first quarter, 7-0, Kansas City. Kimball Anders lines up as a wing right and comes in motion. Hand off, sweep play to the near side. Marcus Allen waits for the hole to develop. Gets up to the 26-yard line, then gets pounded about 3 times, and now eventually goes down at the 27. Gain of 3 yards. Harold Hasselbeck and Glenn Cadrez on the tackle for the Broncos.
Webster Slaughter came back and made a block that enabled at least Marcus to get to the line of scrimmage, because they had that one diagnosed pretty well, but because of that block, Marcus was able to at least pick up a couple of yards.
Kimball Anders with a nice block as well. 2nd down and 8 for the Chiefs. Only give him 2 yards. Football for Kansas City at its own 27. 7-0 Kansas City. We played 10 minutes in the game. Anders lines up as a wide receiver to the right side. Play action fake. Rolling to the right is Bono. Has room to run, but dumps it off to Keith Cash. 30-yard line. Lowers the shoulder. Spins off a hit. Goes down at the 37. Gain of 10. First down Kansas City at its own 37-yard line. Braxton and Atwater tackling on the play.
Willie Davis coming back, throwing a block. It nailed the guy, cut him down, and able Cash to jump up there for the first down. I go back to the receivers, and they just don't run pass patterns and catch the football. Not with Kansas City. You had better be blocking out there on every running play, and Kansas City's receivers do exactly that.
And you know what's interesting? Usually they make their blocks downfield. Now they're blocking near the line of scrimmage because of the alignment of the play. Offset eye. For the Chiefs on first down, it goes to Marcus Allen. He hurdles the defender and goes down head first at the 40-yard line. Simon Fletcher, Steve Atwater there once again for the Broncos. It's a gain for the Chiefs of about 3 yards.
You can see Kansas City's game plan where they think they're able to run, and it's in between the tackles, up the middle. They've had some success. Marcus Allen, a couple of plays ago, picked up almost 10 yards going up the middle. So that's the soft spot they think that they can work on. That's all the game plan. That's part of the game plan. So where can we run against these guys? Well, if we can handle Perry, then we can run the ball up the middle.
3:35 left to go first quarter. 7-0 Chiefs. Kansas City marching again. They have the ball at their own 40. After starting the drive at their own 11, Marcus Allen breaks a tackle and then lunges forward to the 44-yard line and picks up 4 yards on 2nd and 7. Harold Hasselbeck traveling over to make the defensive stop for the Broncos.
There it is, up the middle once again. You have to rely on your interior people. That would be Grunhart. Grunhart that time had his man, defensive tackle James Jones, on his back. You know, it's very tough to make tackles when you're laying on your back. And here comes Kimball Anders limping off the field.
I think the term is pancake they use in football.
Yeah, and when one of those linemen lay on top of you, man, they'd squash you. 300-pound lineman.
Tony Richardson comes in for the Chiefs, now to play fullback. He's kind of been splitting games with Donnell Bennett at that blocking fullback spot. Bennett played last week against Miami. Richardson back in there today against the Denver Broncos. 2:50 in the first quarter. 7-0 Kansas City on a Webster Slaughter touchdown catch from Steve Bono. Set up by a Neil Smith fumble recovery. Rolling to the right, Bono dumps it upfield. The pass is broken up nicely. Jumping into the pattern, Ray Crockett. It was a jump ball. He and Willie Davis went up, and Crockett knocks it loose. It's 4th down.
Actually, Willie Davis, nice play, because making sure it wasn't intercepted. He went all of a sudden from an offensive receiver to a defensive player, trying to knock that ball away from the defensive back. They also had the tight end out in the flat, and Bono was not able to get it to him because he was covered. So the only other choice he had was Willie Davis downfield.
Louis Aguiar to punt. His first punt was only 33 yards. And he was not trying to punt for field position. Now Glenn Milburn is back. The Chiefs would like to kick to the boundary today. Prevent a Milburn return. He just blasts this one. And Glenn Milburn watches it go over his head and sail to the end of the end zone. 56-yard punt. And Louis Aguiar says, take that, Pro Bowl voters. Hang time 4.55 seconds. Timeout on the field. Let's remain here with 2:29 left to go in the first quarter. The Chiefs leading the Broncos 7-0.
I think you can say that Louis got all of that. You know, the baseball player, when he hits one out, yeah, he got all of that one. Louis got that. In fact, it was too good because he didn't want to kick it into the end zone. He would have much rather it land inside the 10-yard line and hopefully maybe have one of their guys, Dale Carter, get down there and down the ball.
And bear in mind, in each one of these kicks, the name Glenn Milburn comes up all the time. Aaron Craver is a lone setback, resting Milburn on this snap. And they're going to toss play to the near side to Craver. Attacks the corner. He's at the 25-yard line and has his legs taken out from under him by Brian Washington, but not until he picks up 10 and maybe 11 yards to his own 31-yard line. Simeon also there for the Chiefs.
Now, once again, where did they run? To their left side, to the right side defensively, working away from Neil Smith because of his quickness. They must feel that they can go outside. Here's the different game plan. You know, with the speed of Milburn and the other backs, they don't think they go inside. They're not that big. Kansas City's running inside. The Broncos feel that they can run to the outside of Kansas City.
Also, I want to ask you about Gary Zimmerman, who's the all-pro left tackle for Denver, and he's on that side of the tackle.
That's a big reason why they're running over there.
Zimmerman, a 10th-year man out of Oregon, lines up at left tackle again. Elway to throw, being hurried. Now the pass is caught on the far sideline by Glenn Milburn and is tackled from behind by Anthony Davis. But it's a gain of 14 yards for the Denver Broncos and a first down for Denver.
Credit the offensive line of the Denver Broncos of giving Elway, seemed like about 5 seconds out there before he actually had to get rid of the ball. You can't ask a linebacker to guard anybody for 4 or 5 seconds. They are going to get a step on them. So that was great protection for John Elway that time.
In particular, when that receiver is Glenn Milburn. First and 10 for the Broncos. Football at their own 44. 7-0 Kansas City. Nearing the final minute of the first frame. Elway, inside handoff, goes to Milburn in trouble, trying to get to the outside. Being chased by Hasty, forced out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Excellent pursuit by the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And James Hasty will get credit for the tackle.
Yes, and once again running to that same side, the defensive right side of Kansas City. And they played that extremely well. They were not able to hook the defensive end. He was able to get some penetration and change the course of Milburn. Anders, they say, a twisted ankle. We'll have to wait and see whether Kimball Anders will be able to return.
Have they run a play to the right yet on a running play? I'm not sure they have.
I think one play. It was inside, and they had to jump to the outside.
Second down, 11. For the Denver Broncos, one back set. Elway retreats into the pocket again on a deep drop. Neil Smith chasing. Elway eludes him. Now throws to the right side. The pass is incomplete. Stretching out for the football was Rod Smith. He was open, but John Elway couldn't get him. The football throwing on the run.
John Elway must be getting older, Mitch, because that time the blitz was on. Derek Thomas going after him. He got to the outside. He had clear sailing to run with the football. I think a few years ago you would have seen John Elway put that ball under his arm and take off and pick up some yardage.
Elway came into the game with a 57.6% completion rate. What about today?
Well, he's 3 of 6 for 33 yards.
He has been sacked 17 times this year, 3 of those times by the Chiefs in Denver. And for the first time today, Elway will use the shotgun. He has 4 wide receivers. The Chiefs have 6 defensive backs. Here comes the blitz from Collins. Elway to throw. Throwing long on the right sideline. Dale Carter on defense. The pass was well underthrown. Mike Pritchard was the intended receiver on a fly pattern on the right sideline. The pass was underthrown.
I'll tell you what, the heat was on because the pressure was coming from the outside and the inside. Mark Collins was blitzing. Elway read that, but that was really a poor throw for John Elway down the field because it was man-to-man coverage. Dale Carter, I think, is probably as good a man-to-man cover guy as there is in the National Football League. He has just been shutting people out.
That's why he gets to spend February in Honolulu. as a Pro Bowl member. Tom Ruin to punt. His first one is 34 yards, but down inside the 20. This one a knuckleball type kick to the center of the field, taken by Penn on the run at the 20. And the first man missed him, but the second man and the third guy knock him down at the 25-yard line. 38-yard punt by Tom Ruin. 3.73 hang time. And let's stay here with a timeout on the field. 15 seconds remains. In the first quarter, it is Kansas City 7, Denver nothing.
And Kansas City's defense once again picking up where they left off against the Miami Dolphins, doing an outstanding job of stopping John Elway and that offense of the Denver Broncos.
And we need to remind folks, Denver is number 1 in the National Football League in total offense.
Yes, and the defense so far has been able to shut them down.
However, Terrell Davis is out today, so is Shannon Sharp. In all fairness to the Broncos. Wing to left side's Kimball Anders, so injured ankle is out there. To throw Bono, he's in trouble. Steps into the pocket, shovels it off to Marcus Allen, the 30-yard line, 35-40 on the far side, angles out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Coming old Joe Montana, a little shovel pass to Marcus Allen, and Marcus did the rest for a gain of 18.
He was able to avoid a couple of guys, Simon Fletcher and James Jones, and that was a good thought. Hey, why not get the ball to 32 and let's see him do his stuff? And that pass travel, do you think of 3 yards maybe? That's maximum. It's all it traveled, about 3 yards.
Most,
Marcus put a move on one of those linebackers out there, and just left him right in his tracks, able to jump to the outside and pick up the first down.
And how about the awareness of Bono on that play, though? Nice.
It's always a good idea to get the ball to Marcus Allen.
Find the Hall of Famer. We're at the end of the first quarter. The score: Kansas City 7, Denver nothing. Now this. You're listening to Chiefs football. The Chiefs have been looking for Marcus Allen. 8 first down snaps in this game. Marcus has had it 6 of the 8.
So is he involved in the game plan, you say? I would say yes. It's a pretty good idea to get the ball to Marcus Allen. They have run the ball 6 of the 8 times on first down. Webster Sloss, a touchdown pass, and that little pass to Marcus Allen.
7-0 Kansas City. The first play of the second quarter. Steve Bono gives it off to Danon Hughes on a reverse pass. There he's going to tuck the football and run. Hughes across the 45 up to the 47-yard line. Again, at 4 yards on 1st and 10 on a reverse pass that Hughes decided to run the football on.
I'm surprised. I'll tell you why, because most all the time if you have a halfback or a wide receiver that has the pass run option, what is he going to do? He only gets hands to throw that thing a couple of times a year. He's going to throw it. I was very surprised that he wisely, because he was looking for Willie Davis downfield and Davis was well covered, he wisely put it under his arm and ran.
You're saying the young man made a good decision?
Yes.
Lead play, right side behind the right guard, Will Shields, and the fullback blocking ahead of Marcus Allen. And Allen's up to the 50-yard line and picks up a yard or 2. So it's third down. Let's call it 3.5 for Kansas City for the first down.
Very few times. I go back to that. Very few times that I have seen the option run pass by either a halfback or a wide receiver where he has actually run the football. I always used to tell him, I said, you don't have to pass now. This is an option.
Usually they just crank it up and throw it to the other guy.
Think, I can throw that thing 80 yards. I can throw that on the money.
And it's usually intercepted. Game man-to-man coverage shown by Denver on the outside receivers for the Chiefs. And a quick slant thrown to Hughes. It's broken up. Boy, as good as you can play it by the near side cornerback Lionel Washington. Reached up to knock down the slant intended for Hughes, and Kansas City has 4th down and 3 at the midfield stripe.
Now, I saw something good out there on that play. John Alt is the left tackle. Now, who's the guy you got to be concerned about? It's that defensive end getting his hands up. John Alt took a step back and then cut him. And when you cut somebody, his hands are going to go down. So that at least left the lane for Bono to throw the ball.
Darren Anderson's the flyer on the near side to cover this punt, and Dale Carter's on the right side to punt Louis Aguiar from his own 35-yard line. The dangerous Glenn Milburn is back for Denver. Wobbly kick, fair catch called for, taken by Milburn at the 15-yard line. Hang time just 3.56 seconds. 35-yard punt by Louis Aguiar, and there's a timeout on the field here at Arrowhead. 13 pass the football, 1st and 10 at its own 15-yard line. The NFL's number 1 rated total offense breaks the huddle. Dwayne Carswell is playing for the injured Shannon Sharp at tight end, lines up on the right side. Milburn's the halfback, Cravers the fullback. They're split behind Elway. Fakes the delay, wants to throw. Looking to the right side, dumps it in the near flat. It's caught by Craver, moves upfield at the 20, and goes down at the 27-yard line after Brian Washington hit him. But it's a first down for Denver and a gain of 11 on first down.
You know, on first down prior to that play, Denver had been averaging 5.8 yards, yet they only had 4 first downs. So they were not doing a very good job on second and third down. Chiefs have done a good job defensively, but here it is, first down play, another play that took forever to develop. The offensive line were able to keep out that Chiefs defensive line.
Anthony Davis, Tracy Simeon, and Derek Thomas, and out the middle goes Glenn Milburn, just sliding and slithering his way through the Chiefs' defense. He gains 12 yards, up to the 38-yard line. Anthony Davis made the tackle, back-to-back plays of about 12 yards by the Broncos.
It's the second time they've run up the middle, because the first time is when Neil Smith stripped Milburn of the football. And you notice that he really had both arms wrapped around that ball when he was going up the middle. But there's 2 plays, 2 first downs for that Bronco offense.
And if you joined us late, that Neil strip and recovery led to a Chiefs touchdown. 5-yard pass from Bono to Webster Slaughter. Milburn again up the middle. And Joe Phillips says hello, Glenn Milburn. He and Sally Amua clog up the middle after a gain of 1 to the 39.
He said, you did it the last time, but you're not going to do it again. And it was like Joe Phillips, so they just kind of lifted Milburn off the ground and said, that's as far as you're going, young man.
Joe Phillips, the lawyer on this team, the counselor, gave an injunction to Mr. Milburn. 2nd down and 9.
Milburn 7 carries, 23 yards.
11:50 left to go in the first half. Kansas City 7. Broncos nothing. The weather is expected to deteriorate as the game goes on. Milburn is out. Craver's in on 2nd down and 9. 3 wide receivers set. Draw play to Craver. Tries to go up the middle. He runs into Neil Smith and Tracy Simeon. And Sally Lou is at the bottom of the pile as well. A loss of 2 on the play. 3rd down and a bunch for Denver.
I'll tell you what, with Neil Smith had a little game coming back to the inside, that was the wrong call for that particular draw play that Denver had designed up, because Neil was right there waiting for it all the way and just leveled the ball carrier and stuffed him in the dirt.
Man, what a push that time by the front 4 of the Chiefs. Elway 4 of 8 for 43 yards. Chiefs with Smith, Sally Amua, Phillips, and Derek Thomas now as a down lineman. Chiefs are blitzing. Elway to throw. Quick pass over the middle to McCaffrey. He hauls it in the breadbasket at the 46, but he's short of a first down. He gains 10, but needed 12. Now Denver's short, 4th and 2 at its own 46-yard line. Mark Collins made the tackle on Ed McCaffrey.
Let's go back to Neil Smith. In the last 7 games against the Denver Broncos, Neil has 11 sacks, 3 forced fumbles today. 1 forced fumble that happened that resulted in the only score of the game. Kansas City leading 7-0.
Tom Ruin, his 3rd punt of the day, averaged 36 on his first 2. 3rd-year man out of Colorado, which has produced a bunch of punters for the NFL. Takes the snap and gets the kick away. This is another high kick as Chris Penn makes the fair catch at his own 20-yard line. So in essence, the same as a touchback. 4.48 seconds on hang time, 34-yard punt. And now it is time for this national go first half. 7-0. The Chiefs lead the Broncos. Offset eye for Kansas City. Football at his own 20. As Bono puts a man in motion, Walker to the right side. Bono, play action fake, sits up deep, goes over the middle, a deep pass caught by Webster Slaughter. He's been the money man for the Chiefs the last several games. First down, Kansas City at its own 41-yard line, a gain of 21.
Got a flag down. There is a player is down. There is the middle area in that double zone that they can work on, because you've got the safeties way back there deep in the middle, but you can throw in front of them if you get over the linebacker's head.
A defensive back is injured for the Denver Broncos, and the pass play is coming back because Kansas City is going to be called for...
Chop block by the offense, numbers 61 and 68. Half the distance to the goal, receive first down.
Tim Grunhard and Will Shields called for the chop block. Let's go down to the sideline.
Mitch, that's Lionel Washington on the field. He was covering Webster Slaughter, and he took the hit that Steve Atwater tried to apply to Webster Slaughter. He took Atwater's shoulder right to his helmet. So that's probably what the injury is there with
Webster Slaughter did an outstanding thing. As soon as he caught that ball, he went right down because he knew that he was about to get unloaded on. That's generally what happens, you know, when defensive players get hurt, because their own guy hits them. Somebody trying to hurt somebody out there wants to make a terrific hit, and so consequently hit their own people, and he gets hurt.
Yeah, they're showing us the replay in the booth now, the chop block. And there's been a lot of defensive players complaining about it the last several weeks. They called the chop block on Tim Grunhard and Will Shields on Shane Granetta was rushing in. Let's get a first quarter score. The hole in the roof is in Dallas. They say there's some heads down there. What about the score?
This can't be. The Giants are leading Dallas 7-3 in the first quarter. That's not allowed, is it? America's team down there.
Barry must not have punted again. You know, that hole in the roof reminds me of a donut. 10:04 left to go here in the second quarter. In Dallas, they have the hole in the roof. Looks just like a donut. 10:04 left to go first half. It is 7-0. Kansas City. Play has been stopped here again because of the injury to the defensive back for the Denver Broncos. And Kansas City has a 21-yard pass play wiped out because of a chop block call. But defensive players around the league are complaining.
Yeah, I saw one of the coaches says, you know, you were the highlight film. I said, yeah, thanks a lot. That's why I retired.
Now Steve Atwater is looking over his friend. Also Marcus Allen, the Chiefs captain, is involved as they surround Lionel Washington.
See, I go back, you know, to instant replay, and the big complaint was that it took too long and you get you out of your game. This is going to be interesting to see both sides, offensively and defensively for both teams, and how this is going to affect their style of play, because you see that the Chiefs players down there, they've been running up and down, jumping, trying to get warm. You know, you're out there playing, perspiring and that, and all of a sudden you have to stand around for 15 or 20 minutes.
Particularly when it is this damp and this cold, about 35 degrees and getting colder. Let's go now to an update. Bill Grigsby is looking over his computer.
They must be waiting for an ambulance to come in. I can't.
Well, they've got him on the stretcher now. That maybe they are waiting for an ambulance.
You know, some of the unusual happenings take place. Miami just about knocked themselves out of the playoffs today, Mitch, when they lost to Buffalo. Buffalo winning it by 3. Indianapolis.
Tyrone Braxton, the strong safety, probably the best hitting tandem of safeties in the league. Ray Crockett is the left corner. Glenn Cadrez, Dave Wyman, and Alan Aldridge are the linebackers. In motion, Keith Cash. Handoff right side to Marcus Allen. He's going nowhere. No gain on the play. On a quick slash to the right side of the Chiefs' offensive line.
They had 2 tight ends in the ball game, Cash and Walker, and they both ended up on the right side, able to get no movement whatsoever. That's what I'm talking about, all this 15 or 20-minute delay, how it's going to affect one team or another. Probably has a bigger effect on the offense than it does on the defense.
Chiefs had a 21-yard pass play wiped out by penalty. 2nd and 19 for Kansas City. Football at its own 11-yard line. Allen and Andrews are in the backfield. Now Marcus Allen goes in motion to the right side in the flat. Bono hands it off, and that weak counter sweep to the near side. It goes to Kimball Andrews. He breaks a couple tackles and still moving, backpedaling up to the 23-yard line. It is a gain of 12 yards on the play. Lake Dawson, outstanding downfield block. And what has been a favorite play for the Chiefs in the month of November and December. In the months of November and December, that weak counter sweep.
Will Shields, another one, pulling out, did an outstanding job of blocking down the field as well. So they created that seam for Kimball Andrews, at least got him out of that big jam back there to where it's reasonable to think that they have a chance here on 3rd down to pick up the first.
Broncos linebackers are beat up. Glenn Cadrez, playing a linebacker, had just signed with this team about 3 weeks ago. Bono on 3rd down and 7. Wants to throw. Sets up in the pocket. Throws over the middle. And catching the pass in traffic. Danon Hughes. And moves upfield. Getting those shoulder pads turned up to the 40-yard line. Again, a 17. First down, Chiefs.
That's the area we were talking about, the middle of the field, where they completed a pass for 21 yards. It was brought back because of a chop block, but once again, when they needed something on 3rd and long, they went to the middle of the field. So they overcame that penalty of 10 yards when they were in a 1st and 20 situation.
Hager and Aldridge made the tackle, but there was a big red and gold bubble in the field, and a big catch by Danon Hughes. Split in left, flanker right, also a wing that way. That's Andrews. Bono, quick pass, looking for Webster. Slaughter makes the low catch on his knees at the Denver 44-yard line. Randy Hilliard makes the tackle. They went after the spot vacated by the injured Lionel Washington and burned the Broncos for 18 yards.
And they're getting the ball to the wide receivers. I said in Monday night game against Miami, wideouts caught 5 passes, 4 of them by Webster Slaughter, but they're spreading it around a little bit here. Now they got to find number 84, though. They haven't had an opportunity to throw the ball in Willie Davis's direction.
Turn-in pattern complete to Webster Slaughter. 1st and 10 for the Chiefs. Now Willie Davis chased by Hilliard as he goes in motion to the right. They're going to run a sweep to the near side. Marcus Allen gets one blocked and moves forward to the 38-yard line and picks up 5 yards on 1st down. Kimball Andrews was lead blocking that time for his running back mate.
You know, with these wideouts, I bet they're wondering, what am I playing out here? They had Willie Davis in motion for the left side. and running down to the line of scrimmage. He had to block on Simon Fletcher. You know, he probably said, "Hey, I didn't come into this league at about 160 or 65 pounds to block on defensive end."
Is that a good sign when you go to your locker instead of an 80 number? There's a 60 or a 70 number there.
Man.
Second down and 5. 6:41 left to go first half. 7-0 Chiefs. Kansas City moving again. At the 38 of Denver. Handoff into the one-back set to Allen. Off tackle right side. Hurdles on a defender. Goes down at the 34-yard line. A gain of 4 yards. As Marcus Allen that time with a quick slash off right tackle.
There it is. He got that basically on his own because the tight end was lined up on the left side. He was going away from him, which is called the weak side. And he just saw whatever opening there was. I told you, he just makes the moves that are necessary to make under the circumstances. Marcus Allen ranks 4th in the AFC on 3rd and 1. 12 attempts, 9 first downs. So we've got a 3rd and 1 situation right now, and Marcus Allen is in the ball game.
Andrews is the fullback. They're in an offset eye. The tight end and the flanker are to the right side. Split in left. Lead play up the middle. Marcus Allen, 30-yard line, 25. Marcus Allen finally tackled at the 22. A gain of 12 yards on the play. And another big moment for Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen has just passed Barry Word for 9th place in career rushing in Kansas City with 2,307 yards. He has been here, what? This is his 3rd year?
Third year.
It's
only 2 and 3-4 series done that.
The Raiders thought he was done, huh?
Yeah, he's real done.
I don't think the Raiders thought that. I think Al Davis didn't want him to play.
Greg Hill is now in the lineup for the Chiefs at the tailback spot. Offset eye, 1st and 10 for the Chiefs at the 22 of the Broncos. Bono fakes a handoff, wants to throw. Fletcher chasing. Deep corner route. Pass is incomplete, intended for Derek Walker. He had the linebacker, Glenn Codrez, burned, but the pass was overthrown. It's incomplete.
That is exactly what you're looking for. You had a blitz on, so you had a linebacker covering a tight end. That's the thing. And he had all that whole area down there to work on him. That's what you're looking for, the matchup you're looking for. Sometimes you call a play and you don't get the matchup you're looking for. It's not a good play, but that one was the right matchup.
Glenn Codrez opened the season with the Jets. Cut, sign, cut, sign. Now he's starting because of the injuries in the Denver defense. Hill in motion, trotting to the left front. And now that comes that counter sweep again to Kimball Anders, 20-yard line, 15. Kimball Anders pounds his way down to the Denver 9-yard line. Ricky Sigler that time with a key block.
I'll tell you, they had to keep running that thing until somebody does something to change it. Sigler came out, as you mentioned that time, created the seam with a terrific block coming from the right tackle position all the way over to the left side, and Kimball Anders just following him in there.
Gain of 13 yards. The Chiefs are in business now. Goal to go at the 9-yard line of the Denver Broncos. 4:40 left to go in the first half. 7-0 Kansas City.
The last 9 times Kansas City's been in goal to go, they've scored 8 touchdowns.
Steve Bono flicks his left heel. He puts Danon Hughes in motion to the right side. Back to throw is Bono. Dumps it off to Kimball Anders, spinning out of the backfield and gets nailed at the 7, just a gain of 2. Alan Aldridge there for the Denver Broncos to make the hit.
Now I go back to when you guess right. They would have hoped that the blitz would be on, because that was a little pass coming out of the backfield where he gets around the defensive end and cuts to the inside. Hopefully there's only one person there. There were 2 people there. They had him sandwiched, so he did make the catch for the 2 yards, but it was not the play or the defense that they were hoping that Denver would be in.
Alt, Zott, Grunhard, Shields, and Sigler, the front 5 offensively on the line for Kansas City. Also a tight end and a flanker that way to the offset eye on 2nd down and goal to go. Marcus Allen trying to pick a hole up the middle. Sees nothing but blue, orange, and white shirts of Denver. Gets to the 5 and then can gain just 2 yards.
It's imperative they get some points out of this drive. 3 points would be very big, particularly the way Kansas City's defense has been playing here in the first half. So they got to throw the ball down here in all likelihood. Hopefully they can spread out that defense of the Denver Broncos, because they've got some weak spots back there.
Their first touchdown came from this distance, from 5 yards out. Split backs behind Bono. Anders in motion to the left flat. Bono takes the snap, fakes a handoff, bootleg play to the right side. Bono, touchdown Kansas City. Steve Bono, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. That's a new Kansas City Chief record.
And I'll tell you what is so beautiful about that, number 27 Atwater, the guy that knocked his own man out of the game. He had no clue what was going on. He was looking to the inside, and Bono just ran right up his back. By the time he turned around, Bono was in the end zone.
5 rushing
Great
touchdowns.
call. That's a great call that time. Great call.
It's been a great call and a popular call for the Chiefs all season long. Now Lynn Elliott will try the point after. Aguiar will hold. Danny V is the snapper. The placement is down. Elliott's kick, this time a line drive kick, but it's good. And Kansas City now leads the Denver Broncos 14-0. 3:01 left to go in the first half.
Go back to play calling. I said the one to Kimball Anders. Geez, they weren't in the defense you would like to see them. But that last play, the bootleg, the naked...
Will be an up blocker for Milburn along with Rod Smith. Lynn Elliott is 2 for 2 on point after touchdowns today. Well,
generally you say the attempt. You generally say he's going to make this field goal. You know, he makes the extra point. You don't take anything for granted.
Lynn Elliott gets a kick away, a line drive kick again. They kick away from Milburn. Short kick.
These guys.
And they fumble it, picked up by Smith at the 25, and then runs into Minuski. And also, there for the Chiefs was Tony Richardson.
Well, you never let that ball bounce around on the ground. I don't care who you are or what position you're playing. If it's around by your feet, pick that thing up and get as much yards as you can. Anthony Miller. We
yes,
have not
where
heard
is
anything.
Mr. Miller?
He ranks 5th in the AFC in receiving with 1,000 yards, 19.2 yards per catch. No catches today. I don't believe that they've even thrown one in his direction.
He lines up to the left side this time. James Hasty covering at him, pointing at him, trying to get the Chiefs in the right defense. Elway, sweep to the left side to Milburn. Has a lead blocker in front of him. That's Zimmerman. Or rather, Reggie McElroy, a former Chief, was lead blocking for him. Gets it to the 31-yard line. And gets a nice pickup on first down of about 6 yards. Anthony Davis covering for the Chiefs.
And once again, where are they running? They're running to the right defensive side of Kansas City. We had Derek Thomas. Is he out there because he went in to get something taped? I don't know whether he came back. Yeah, he came back out.
He's a linebacker at the left side.
Elway's 5 of 9, just 53 yards.
Second down, let's call it 3 for the Broncos at the 33. They dump it off on a screen. After faking a handoff to Milburn, he catches the screen left and sheds a tackle. Gets up to the 40, 35-yard line to the 36. First down for Denver, and Glenn Milburn with outstanding effort. Darren Mickle missed a tackle, and that's the 2-minute warning. The 2-minute warning is being announced here to the 79,000-plus fans at the 2-minute warning. Kansas City leads Denver 14-0 on the Chiefs. Fox Football Radio Network. In the first half here, the Chiefs lead the Broncos 14-0.
How'd they score those touchdowns? Tell me about that.
Well, old
Webster
Steve Bono.
Slaughter, yep.
Webster Slaughter had one 5-yard touchdown catch, and then old Steve Bono ran it in from 5 yards.
Third down and goal. Let's go with our best runner. That would be number 13 himself on this bootleg out here.
His 5th touchdown of the season, which rushing.
Plus, Rich Gannon got one on a bootleg as well. You remember that against the Raiders.
6 defensive backs on the field for the Kansas City Chiefs. Anthony Davis, the lone linebacker. Darren Anderson is out there as a cover player. Has to throw Elway over the middle. High reaching grab by Ed McCaffrey. Fully stretched out vertically to haul it in. A gain of 14 yards and a first down for the Denver Broncos.
That was a terrific catch because he had Mark Collins on him. Mark Collins jammed him at the line of scrimmage. He was still able to get away from him, leap up in the air, and make that reception.
McCaffrey
still haven't thrown the ball in Anthony Miller's direction.
McCaffrey last year played for the world champion 49ers. Craver the lone setback. In motion. Out of the left slot is Pritchard. Elway looks off a receiver, turns left, wants to go to Miller. He won't go anywhere because he gets sacked for the first time today by Neil Smith at the 45-yard line.
Somebody's hurting down there. Somebody is hurting for Kansas City. I think it's Neil. Neil is hurting.
Elway sacked for the 4th time this season by Kansas City, and Neil Smith is the injured Chief as he nailed Elway.
On the replay, when he tackled him, he got turned around, and all of Elway's weight fell on him, perhaps his shoulder. But the good news is Neil is walking off the field quite briskly.
Timeout has been called by Denver. Let's stay here with 1:23 remaining in the first half. Or Kansas City, rather, has called a timeout. The Chiefs lead the Broncos 14-0.
You don't sack the Denver Bronco quarterback Elway too often. They rank 3rd in the NFL in sacks per attempt. 1 sack every 25 attempts, which is pretty good. Plus, you know, Elway's got a cannon on his right side. He gets rid of that ball in a hurry most of the time. But see, you were right. He was looking for Anthony Miller. And, it, you know, just took that long when he was looking over there. Miller was taken care of by James Hasty. And that's when Neil Smith came in to dump him.
We checked Bill Grigsby's Western Union ticker here, and we've got a score in from the Donut in Dallas.
I don't believe that. New York Giants 14, Dallas 6.
Wow. It's been a long week for Barry and Jerry.
Yeah.
Nothing happening today that's making it any better. 4-6 defense for Kansas City. Doug Terry in for the absent Martin Bayless, who has a funeral in the family, not playing today. Crossing pattern, far side goes to Smith. And he goes all the way to the far boundary and out of bounds at the 45-yard line. We need to mention Martin Bayless is not here because of a death in his family. He had to attend the funeral, not playing today. And so Doug Terry's out there. Now Darren Anderson's out there in that 6 defensive back set.
And Martin Bayless is a very bright, intelligent player and generally does the right thing. That time Elway had all the time in the world to let his receivers work on the secondary.
Elway puts Milburn in motion. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers. Quick slant over the middle. Broken up. Art Collins jumps in front of the intended receiver, Ed McCaffrey. It's incomplete. And it's 4th down and 5 for the Denver Broncos at the 45-yard line of Kansas City. McCaffrey is injured on the play. He got popped on the middle route.
What a terrific play by Mark Collins. Mark Collins, that same duo, McCaffrey, remember, caught a pass for about 11 yards. Not too long ago when he was able to get by Mark Collins. That time, Mark with a terrific play. And
Brian Washington with a master blaster hit on McCaffrey after the ball went by.
Timeout.
You know, McCaffrey is now a timeout. And this time the injured player to Denver. The NFL rule is you have an injured player and inside of 2 minutes you get charged with a team timeout. But man, McCaffrey got blasted by Brian Washington.
That's why you don't want your quarterback stretching your receivers out and putting them in a position like that. You know, being all exposed when you have everything exposed and no way to defend yourself.
1:13 left to go in what has been a very long first half. There have been several stoppages in the game. The longest, of course, was about a 20-minute stoppage with the injured Lionel Washington.
He got hit a lot harder than Buster Mathis Jr. did last night, I'll guarantee you.
Really?
Yes. Buster laid on Tyson most of the night. Looked like Tyson was a waterbed.
That was quite a shot he took to his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
That took him down. He did take a nice wrap to the head 2 punches before that. Tom Ruin with the punt away. And Denver trying to down it, cannot. It rolls into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Hang time, 4.48 seconds. Distance, 45 yards. The Chiefs, with 1:02 left to go in the first half, lead 14-0. What will they do here?
The first play will dictate what they're going to do. I would look for them to run the ball. And if they get good yardage and that, then they will get into their 2-minute drill. But if they come up with nothing, they got a 14-point lead. They don't want to take any chances on giving the ball to the Denver Broncos. That's why I think on this first down they're going to run with the football.
Indianapolis has taken a 10-7 lead over San Diego right before the half in Indianapolis. And again, the Giants 14, Dallas 6. I wonder, I'd like to get a good close-up of Jerry Jones right now.
Well, you will be able to because you know he's going to be down there in front of the camera sometime.
He may be on the bench, you know.
He's got a branding iron with a Nike swoosh on it. Branding anybody he could find, I'm sure. Minute left to go. Kansas City's going to throw it. Bono throwing long, near side. Pass overthrown, intended for Slaughter. He was in a foot race with the coverage player for Denver, Eric Thomas.
That's actually a safe pass going down there. One guy he's looking for. If he's open, try to get it to him. If it's close, make sure no one catches the football.
One of the main stories here, the Chiefs have shut out the NFL's top offensive team here through the first half.
Bono is 10 of 15, 96 yards and a touchdown. Plus he ran for a touchdown, which accounted for the 14 points that they have on the board.
He's had a little bit of rhythm today, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He threw poorly against Miami.
Plus, Kansas City's done a nice job of calling plays in this game. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Bono's going to dump it off on a screen to Marcus Allen. Gets a nice block from Grunhard. 30-yard line. Breaking to the outside, gets a block from Slaughter. And he's out of bounds at the 36 to stop the clock with 48 seconds. And now downfield, Randy Hilliard mixing it up with Willie Davis.
15-yard gain. Did you notice that what did Marcus do? Fought for yardage and got out of bounds, so he stops the clock. Knew he had the first down and then just immediately headed toward the sidelines and got out of bounds, so he didn't have to waste the timeout.
Slaughter, Shields,
so
and
Kansas
Grunhard.
City has 2 timeouts remaining.
We're all blocking in front of him. 3 wide receivers again to the right, 1 to the left for Bono. First and 10 at his own 36, 14-0 Chiefs, 48 seconds left in the half. Bono to throw, rifles over the middle, it's broken up. And the pass intended for Webster Slaughter. Eric Thomas defends the play very well. In fact, the Chiefs fans saw it a little too well.
Neil Smith, bruised right shoulder, taking him in for some x-rays. We won't know until the second half whether he'll be able to play or not.
Chiefs showing again some outstanding depth on defense. Yep. No Martin Bayless. Jamison left early. Neil Smith down. But the Chiefs have still played good defense in this game.
Webster Slaughter, talking about him and the main guy. They went to him again in this situation. And they've yet to get the ball to Willie Davis.
Second down and 10. 44 seconds left to go in the half. They're in a conventional pro I set, meaning 2 backs in the backfield and 2 wide receivers. The throw, Bono throwing long for Willie Davis. Near sideline, pass overthrown, incomplete. Thomas and Braxton on coverage toward Denver as Willie Davis, the intended receiver.
There it is, the first time that they've gone their way, and they're looking for that up pattern or streak pattern, trying to get the home run on that play, but he was well covered on that play.
Now it's 3rd and 10 for the Chiefs. Football at the 36-yard line. 38 seconds remaining in the first half of play. And the Chiefs leading 14-0.
This is a situation where, you might have 3 guys and throw that thing up there. Even if it's intercepted, so what? It's kind of like a punt. And they have 3 guys on the right side right now.
And Slaughter isolated on the left against Thomas. Bono again retreats into the pocket, has protection, throws for Slaughter, near sideline, makes the catch, spins on the defender, gets out of bounds at the 41 of the Denver Broncos. For the Chiefs, it is a gain.
See, now that's good.
21 yards.
Good play calling, because what have they done? They've thrown 2 ups on that cornerback over here. 1 to Webster Slaughter, 1 to Willie Davis. Now they put 3 guys on the other side, 1 guy over on this cornerback, and he runs a sideline pattern. Makes him think it's going to be a long up pattern, and stops and comes back. And he was wide open.
The comeback pattern complete for 21 yards from Bono to Slaughter. 32 seconds remaining in the first half. 14-0 Chiefs driving at the 41 of Denver. Denver showing blitz. Atwater sneaking up there, now falls back into coverage. Bono dumps it over the middle, finds Marcus Allen, he finds Steve Atwater. Nice sure tackle by Atwater, tackled in bounds, clock moving at 22 seconds. Now timeout called by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Got 1 left, 24 seconds remaining. He didn't want to go to Marcus Allen on that. He was looking down the field, but you notice that he had to jump and move up into the pocket because the rush on the outside was coming in on him. So once again, that middle area down there. Here's a situation, if they can come away with 3 points, it'd be great.
And you wonder about Denver losing a game last week after having 21 fourth-quarter points scored on them. If Kansas City could jump on them here by a 3-touchdown margin, although the Broncos still have playoff hopes, they need to win tonight and win next week. And then still kind of have to wait on the rest of the league.
Steve Bono last week, 18 for 34, 156 yards, a touchdown and an interception. That was against the Miami Dolphins. Today, here in the first half, he's 13 to 20, 139 yards and a touchdown. So he's throwing the ball much better this week.
3 wide receivers set, no tight ends because 2 backs are in the backfield for Bono. On second down and 6 at the 37. Dumps it off late, delay pattern. Kimball Anders can't haul it in. The ball crawled over his face mask into his right hand into the ground. The pass a little too high. Now it's 3rd and 6 for the Chiefs at the Bronco 37.
Did that because there was an awful lot of pressure on him by Michael Dean Perry. It was right back in the face of Steve Bono, and he had to get rid of that ball before that Kimball Anders had an opportunity to turn around and try to locate the thing.
One bugaboo for the Chiefs all season long in this great season has been 3rd down conversions. What about today?
Well, on 3rd down, the last 2 games, there were 5 of 24. That's 20%. Today, they're 5 of 8, which is much, much better.
They have 3rd down and 6 here at the Bronco 37. 3 wide receivers set, 20 seconds left to go in the half. Bono, 5-step drop, goes over the middle, pass tipped, and incomplete. Keith Cash was open over the middle, the pass was tipped, and Cash tried to go back for the football, couldn't haul it in. Now it's 4th down for the Chiefs. 4th and 6 at the 37 of Denver.
I think they're going to go for it. There again, once again, where was the open area? In the middle of that defense down there, and it was open.
Now 16 seconds remains in the half.
Yeah, they still have a timeout left, so they can afford to get downfield once again. Why not?
They go with 3 wide receivers. Dawson by himself on the left side. Tight end Cash. 3-point stance, right hand on the ground. 2 receivers to the right side. There is movement of the defensive line. They're blitzing, and Crockett takes the ball away from Bono. Ray Crockett at the 30. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Are there any flags on the field? No, it's a Denver touchdown. Ray Crockett just took the football away from Steve Bono on a blitz and goes for 49 yards and a Denver touchdown.
What happened? The ball was snapped to the quarterback, I think, too soon because none of the other offensive linemen moved. That's why there was pressure right in the face of Steve Bono. But you would think after dropping the ball several times already this year that the thing that you do is cover that thing up.
Ray Crockett just took the ball away from Steve Bono. Was Bono thinking there was going to be a penalty on the play?
No, I don't know what he was thinking, but I think the ball was snapped before the count because none of the offensive linemen moved. And therefore, that's why the defense was able to get around him and get to Bono. But when they got to Bono, he should have, protect that football, just go on down. Officially
a 50-yard fumble recovery and run by Ray Crockett. Jason Elam kicks the point after, and with 3 seconds left to go in the first half, the Broncos have stunned the Chiefs with a giant play.
They have shut down the top offense in the league in the first half, and then they just let them get back in the game. That ball was snapped by Grunhard before the rest of the people knew about it. And Bono, man, he can't feel pressure. I'm looking at that replay. He's got to feel that pressure coming at him. You go back in the pocket, you look generally, you swivel your head and look both ways to make sure that, no one is right in your face.
Ray Crockett, 50-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. Bono was retreating into the pocket wanting to throw. Again, the play was disjointed. The timing off on the play. Denver was blitzing, and Crockett just took it away from Bono and ran for a touchdown.
That's why that head, it has that swivel. You can look both ways, and if you're a quarterback, you should do a lot of that when you're going back in the pocket.
And all of a
particularly
sudden,
if the blitz is coming. I mean, you have to recognize that the blitz is coming.
We were talking about the Chiefs being up 21 or 17. Now they lead by 7. Kick that rolls through the hands of Valerio. Picked up on the right side, and going down with it is Chris Penn on the right side leg. And halftime is here, and a stunning play by Ray Crockett, taking the ball away from Steve Bono and running it for 50 yards, has put Denver back in the game. At halftime, Kansas City 14, Denver 7. Bill Grigsby's halftime is coming up after this on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
You're listening to your 1995 Kansas City Chiefs on the Chiefs.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. When it's gotta be great and it's gotta be now, it's gotta be Domino's.
Welcome to our studios in New York, everyone. Along with Joe Gibbs and Joe Montana, I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's run down scores and highlights for you as we have them. Beginning in Indianapolis, the Colts at halftime are leading the San Diego Chargers by a 10-7 score. With a victory there, the Indianapolis Colts can secure a spot in the postseason. Meanwhile, in Kansas City, the game some of you are watching there, at halftime, the Chiefs are leading the Denver Broncos 14-7, and with a win, Kansas City can secure a first-round bye in the AFC.
Type of thing that just bounced around there, didn't bounce out of bounds, because had it bounced out of bounds, it would have come back to the 40-yard line. But Kansas City's defense got them backed up to start the second half. Defensively, Kansas City did a superb job in the first half of containing a very explosive offense.
Davis and Simeon and Derek Thomas, the linebackers. Neil Smith was injured earlier. He's out of there now because Mickle and Booker, the defensive ends, hand off Milburn. Up the middle, going nowhere. Ran in to Anthony Davis, who just pushed him back about as fast as he went into the line. It is a loss on the play of the yard.
Oh, man, he came flying out of there. Milburn only weighs 177 pounds, Mitch. And let's think about this. 177 pounds running into a guy like Stanley Moore Phillips, over 300 pounds. Who's going to move backwards? I think it's going to be Milburn.
Physics, I think, is what you're talking about. 14-15 left to go, third quarter. The Chiefs have the Broncos in jail. Second down and 9 for Denver. At their own 8-yard line, they gave him a yard on forward motion. Sweep play left side. The flag is going to stop play. The referee running in quickly. It'll be a dead ball infraction as the referee, Ed Hockley, who has been rather quiet today.
The Denver Broncos, they may have moved.
By the offense, number 89. Half the distance to the goal.
Dwayne Carswell.
First penalty.
This isn't a very good place to have it, though.
No, not down by your goal line. Because if you got to go back and pass, bear in mind, if there's a penalty occurring inside the end zone, it's 2 points.
This Chiefs defense now foaming at the mouth. Not exactly hanging mistletoe over the head of the Broncos here. Second down and 13.
Denver 1 penalty, Kansas City 1 penalty. It was that chop penalty by the offensive line.
Zimmerman, Schlareth, Nalen, Habib, Thompson. Offensive front line for Denver. In motion, Craver to the right flat. 6 defensive backs for the Chiefs. Elway out of the shotgun to throw from his own end zone. Waits the last possible minute. Hits McCaffrey at the 8. He's immediately tackled by Mark Collins. It's a gain of just 4 yards.
Elway was looking at him all the way, and what they had on the other side was a mismatch. They had a wide receiver going to be covered by a linebacker. That's the matchup that I've won. So it's a 5-yard gain, so it's going to be 3rd and long once again for John Elway and the Bronco offense.
And Anthony Miller has been shut down today.
Sure.
1,000-yard receiver, no catches today. 0 for 4 the Broncos on 3rd down. They have 3rd and 8 here from their own 9. Elway to throw from his own end zone. Long pass for Miller. Overthrown, incomplete. Hasty was trailing him by a step, but Elway missed Miller, who just runs the route and then peels over to the Denver bench. The Broncos have to punt on their own end zone.
Bad throw by John Elway. He had a step. That's all you're looking for. The guy like Anthony Miller, who has tremendous speed, if you get that ball out there, he threw that on a line, too. If he'd have lofted a little bit more, put a little more air under it, and let Miller run under it, because Miller, I think, is faster than James Hasty.
One of the fastest men in the NFL, ruined a punt, 6 yards deep in his own end zone. Hammers this kick. Kick that spirals through the December air. It's taken by Chris Penn at the 42. Juke move to the right, turns left, and gets blasted by 4 different Broncos at the 42-yard line. Then Perry Carter, who's on the special teams now for the Chiefs, a little blast to Smith himself. The punt was 49 yards. And it's back along with Len Dawson, Bill Grigsby, and Bob Gretz here at Arrowhead Stadium. 13:04 left to go in the 3rd quarter. The Chiefs lead the Broncos 14-7. Kansas City readying itself for its first drive of the 3rd quarter. The Chiefs have a one-back set. It is Marcus Allen. That means 2 tight ends are in the game. Cash is 1, lines up as a wing, goes in motion to the right. Bono fakes a handoff to Allen, wants to throw long, over the middle. He's got a man. Willie Davis peels away from Crockett and gets tackled at the Denver 37-yard line. Willie Davis, first catch of the day. This one for 19 yards.
And they had 2 tight ends in the ball game. They had like an 8-man front out there. And that time Davis looked like he was going to go on an up, that he stopped, came back toward the line of scrimmage, and he was wide open. It was a good call against that particular type of defense that the Broncos threw at them. I'm happy to see Willie Davis get the ball. I mean, he was shut out the first half.
Denver defensively still is Simon Fletcher, of course, the dependable guy, defensive end. Michael Dean Perry, James Jones on the defensive front. Willie Davis and Webster Slaughter, the wide receivers for Steve Bono on 1st and 10 at the Bronco 39. Flag on the play, handoff up the middle. Allen breaking a tackle behind the scrimmage, moves to the 35, gains 4 yards and gets nailed by Alan Aldridge. But let's see what the penalty will be here.
Somebody's offsides.
Illegal procedure.
Kansas City. That's just the 2nd penalty for Kansas City in the ball game.
14-7, the Chiefs lead the Broncos. Kansas City had a comfortable 14-0 lead with 3 seconds left to go in the first half when Ray Crockett stripped the ball from Steve Bono and ran it 50 yards for a touchdown.
Moving at the same time. 5-yard penalty, receives first down.
And now Kansas City, instead of having 2nd and 5, will have 1st and 15.
They overcame the situation on the first penalty they had for chopping. It was 1st and 20. They overcame that. See if they can overcome this. The middle is still open, throwing the football.
Right tackle still Ricky Sigler. Tight end that way as well. In fact, double tight ends. Walker right, Cash left. Cash steps off, goes in motion to the right side. Bono hands it off. Up the middle it goes to Kimball Anders. He's at the 39-yard line. Gains back the 5 yards of the penalty. Alan Aldridge on the tackle for Denver. That time the same, a counter play, but designed to go up the middle, not the outside counter that we see Anders run so much.
The reason for that was Atwater was blitzing. He was coming up the field and shut that off. Took that outside run away from him, so he had no other choice but to go inside. Kimball Anders, 4 carries, 33 yards.
Kimball now rushing the football. Has rushed the ball 55 times. He's caught 52 passes. 2nd down and 10 for the Chiefs. At the Bronco
blitz.
40. Here comes the blitz. They throw right. Pass nearly intercepted.
Woo!
Tyrone Braxton, like a heat-seeking missile, was going into the left flat and nearly intercepted the pass that was intended for Marcus Allen.
I'd sometimes like to know the thought processes of Steve Bono, what he was thinking on that particular play. He saw the blitz coming. They were outmanned. The idea, yes, is to throw the ball away, but that means throw the ball away. He almost threw it to the only person down there, which was the Denver Broncos secondary.
And Tyrone Braxton, if he would have picked it off.
Oh, it would have been 6.
All right, Slaughter is wide to the right side. Willie Davis in a slot right. Tight end left is Cash. Split backs on 3rd down and 11 for the Chiefs at the Bronco 40. 14-7 Kansas City. Bono with a deep drop this time. On the right boundary, reaching up. Willie Davis, but has it knocked away by Tyrone Braxton at the last second. And let's quickly pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Kansas City Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
101 KCFX, Harrisonville, Kansas City. Your radio home of the Chiefs and classic rock and roll of the 70s.
4th down, Kansas City runs the punt team on.
That last pass, it was pretty well covered, but so what? You know, it could be a big catch, even if it's intercepted. It's kind of like a punt. They're down there in their territory anyway.
Louis Aguiar's had 3 punts in the day, 41-yard average. He takes the snap. Here come the Broncos on the rush. An end-over-end kick, kicking for field position. Bounces inside the 10, inside the 5. Darren Anderson tries to tip it out front and can't. The ball rolls into the end zone, and now the ball's loose in the end zone. They're going to say it's down or touchback. It's a touchback.
Touchback.
For the Denver Broncos.
First of all, number 34, Carter, went into the end zone. He was standing in the end zone trying to back it out. You can't do that.
Not in the National Football
League.
League.
Go back. It's going to go back to the 20-yard line for the Denver Broncos. They'll have it 1st and 10 on their 20.
But hold
of Gabe Sod.
After the game, more classic rock and roll of the 70s. The Fox.
We have an update on Lionel Washington. He has been taken to St. Luke's Hospital for x-rays, Len. He was 20 minutes.
Yeah, let's hope it's all right.
In the right slot is Pritchard. Goes in motion left. Tight end left is Carswell. On 1st down, play action fake to throw Elway. Fakes the slant. He'll be sacked at the 10-yard line. Darren Mickle with the sack. His 4th of the season, and buries him back at the 10-yard line for a loss of 10.
I wonder how long he thought he was going to have. He pumped about twice before eventually somebody came down his throat. He was looking to pump and then go deep. But Mickle was right there on his face. 2nd sack of the day for the Kansas City Chiefs. Neal had one earlier. Mickle gets this one. Neil Smith out with an injury right now, so Booker's at left defensive end. Mickle to the right side. Sally Amua and Phillips to the defensive tackle. 4 defensive backs to throw Elway on 2nd and 18. Dumps it over the middle. Finds Milburn at the 17. Then he's tackled immediately by Tracy Simeon. Let's go down to Bob Gretz for this update.
Mitch, just to update you, it has started to rain down here on the field. And if we remember back to Mile High Stadium in the cold and wet, Mr. Elway didn't have much fun with a wet football. But it has started to rain, and it's much colder down here than it was at kickoff right now.
Well, remember all those ducks? Those Ducks Unlimited.
They have yet to convert a 3rd down situation. They're 0 for 5 today.
3rd and 13, Kansas City. Stays with a conventional 4 defensive back defense. Elway on 3rd and 13, being chased, throws to the near flat. Underthrows Glenn Milburn. It skips incomplete. And the Denver Broncos will have to punt. Dale Carter on coverage for the Chiefs.
I'm telling you, Joe Phillips is strong. Now, he's taken that offensive guard and just taking him and running him right back into the feet of John Elway. He's been doing that all evening long. So John Elway cannot step up in the pocket. He's got to go sideways if he wants to get away from all that rush.
He has also had a terrific year along with Sally Amua. Tom Ruin to punt from his own 5. Nice kick that spirals high in the air. Good hang time. It's taken by Chris Penn at the 35-yard line. Breaks 2 tackles, gets his back turned, and then gets nailed by Alan Aldridge.
Still
at
great
the 37-yard line.
Still
hang
good.
time, 4.26 seconds. What have we got? 49-yard punt and a timeout on the field.
Get the look that lasts. Get Mannington.
Pizza. Call now to win. 1-800-576-77FX.
9:45 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Kansas City leads Denver 14-7. Steve Bono has Greg Hill in motion to the right flat. Hands it off to Kimball Anders off tackle right side 40-yard line. Kimball lowers the shoulder 45. Tiptoes across the 50. Ankle tackled at the 49-yard line of the Denver Broncos. First down, Kansas City, a gain of 14.
And he did an awful lot of that on his own, because when you look at the defense, they had about 8 guys up on or near that line of scrimmage. And I would say that's probably what the Broncos are going to start thinking about doing, is blitzing the quarterback in passing situations and trying to get after him.
Alan Aldridge on the tackle for Denver. And how about Kimball's numbers?
5 carries, 48 yards. That's 9.6 average. That is good.
Cash, wing left, goes in motion right out of an I formation, a staggered I set. This is Greg Hill, his first carry of the day, trying to get outside. Goes off tackle left and gets nailed at the 46, a gain of 2 yards. Simon Fletcher and Steve Atwater there for Denver.
They need to go on a quick count, because the Broncos are trying to camouflage the blitzes, and they're coming later on. You don't want them to time it where they're coming up there. So the one way to get them out of that is to go on a quick count. But you see, they're adjusting defensively. Their plan is now, it looks like, is that, hey, we're going to send some people after the quarterback, because we're not guarding them back here all that well when they're throwing the ball.
Second down and 8 for the Kansas City Chiefs at the 46 of Denver. Chiefs by a touchdown. 8:27 left to go third quarter. Davis and Slaughter the wide receivers. That weak counter sweep near side to Anders. This time won't go anywhere. Alan Aldridge grabs the back of the shoulder pad of Kimball Anders and drags him down at the 44, just a gain of 2. Now Denver's got that play figured out.
Well, they had some success, Kansas City has, but Hilliard, the cornerback, was also the linebacker and the cornerback. The cornerback was coming up the field, making sure he doesn't get to the outside, so then you got to run into the linebacker, and he's there to make the tackle. Chiefs ranked 13th in the AFC, 28th in the NFL on third down, 34%. Today, though, they're much better. They're 5 of 10.
You say 28th in the NFL?
28. There's only 30 teams.
7:42 left to go third quarter. Bono reads the blitz, throws near side, and underthrows the pass. An out pattern intended for Webster Slaughter. Eric Thomas was covering him, but Steve Atwater was coming.
They were coming. I told you what they're going to do. They're going after the quarterback in passing situations and try to get to him. Why not? They did it just before half, ended up with a touchdown.
Jeff Criswell that time was in at right tackle for the Chiefs, spelling Ricky Sigler. 7:39 left to go third quarter, 14-7 Chiefs. Louis Aguiar on the punt again for field position. The Chiefs have had Denver in poor field position now this entire quarter, but have yet to get points on the board. Aguiar takes the snap, belt high, trying to angle a kick to the left sideline. Milburn moving over, lets it bounce and goes out of bounds, and they will mark it out at the 15-yard line.
Flag on the play. Flag holding Kansas City.
So the Chiefs will have to do it again. The ball went out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
I'd punt them over. Make it punt it over again. You know, the Broncos only have 125 yards in total offense. And coming into this game, what were they? They were pretty close to the top number one in total offense.
One in the league.
Number 24, 10-yard penalty, received fourth down.
Doug Terry called for the holding penalty. Pride of liberal Kansas is upset with Ed Hockley, and he's arguing with him right now.
He'll lose that argument. He might as well get back and get ready for this next play. So they're the total yard averaging 381 yards a game. And today they have 125 so far.
Louis Aguiar has always been known as a guy that kicks the ball deep better than trying to kind of sculpture a kick out of bounds. So the penalty, in a strange way, could help Kansas City here and let Louis just pound the ball. Takes the snap, winds up, gets the kick away, angling a kick to the near sideline again. Milburn will take it at the 18 on his knees. Now gets up quickly, goes down at the 22-yard line, and a flag is thrown on the play.
Generally, that's the case. It's against the Broncos, maybe.
36-yard punt, but it may be an illegal block in the back on Denver. Anthony Davis down quickly to make. How about Anthony Davis? He's out there almost every snap on defense and about every special team. He's earning his paycheck. Penalty on the Broncos.
So that backfired. They made him kick over, but they had to make him kick over because the ball was inside the 20-yard line.
But here again, now, third straight series, Denver has the ball deep in its own territory.
Absolutely, and John Elway has not looked good. He has not thrown the ball well.
26 during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Illegal block in the back on Eric Thomas of the Broncos. It moves the football for Denver back to its own 12-yard line. Plus, there's a break in the action. 7:23 remains, third quarter. The Chiefs 14, the Broncos 7. Broncos backed up to their own 13-yard line. First and 10, Denver. 7:23 left in the third. Toss play to Craver, left side. He's at the 15, sprints up to the 20. Bashed out of bounds by Collins at the 22-yard line. It's a Denver first down
I
on
was
first
just watching
down.
Derek Thomas run. He is not back to full strength because he is much quicker than that. Wasn't able to get out there. You know, we talked about field position. Both teams have had the ball 8 times in starting positions. For Kansas City, 4 of the 8 have been outside their 35-yard line. For Denver, none outside their own 30-yard line.
First and 10 once again for Denver. Football for the Broncos. At their own 23-yard line. Split backs behind Elway. In motion to the near side, Milburn. Tight end right is Carswell. Elway to throw. Sets up in the pocket. Holds. Now throws and fires and has a man at the 35-yard line. Sprints up to the 39. A flag was thrown on the play. As making the catch, Anthony Miller, his first of the day.
First of the day, and it was inside. It was the inside area, and Elway had all the time in the world back there to let Anthony Miller work on people. This penalty is going to be against Kansas City. They'll undoubtedly refuse the penalty because they pick up about 14 yards on the play or thereabouts.
Anthony Miller.
Going back a while ago.
Field position.
Field position
Before
that.
the pass was completed, the penalty is declined because the play results in a first down.
Inside the 15-yard, their own 15-yard line twice. Between the 20 and 28 3 times. Between the 15 and 23 times. So they've had to travel a long way to score. That's why they haven't. They scored with the defense scoring the touchdown.
Gain of 15 on the pass to Miller. Milburn in motion to the right flat. The throw is Elway. Looks that way now. Turns left and has a man. Carswell wide open. The tight end 50. 45 lowers the shoulder. Finally gets tackled all the way up to the Kansas City 38-yard line. Tackled by James Hasty of the Chiefs. Shannon Sharp out today. Dwayne Carswell makes his second catch of the season.
Somebody blew the coverage because he ran a crossing pattern from the right side to the left side, and there wasn't anyone within 10 yards of it. So somebody has to figure out, who's got this guy in that particular pass coverage.
Gain of 23 yards to Dwayne Carswell. Second-year man out of Liberty University. First and 10 for Denver at the 38 of the Chiefs. This drive started at their own 14. They try to run it up the middle, and a short gain is Mickle. Saliamua hang on to the legs of Glenn Milburn for a short gain. And this is where Denver might miss Terrell Davis a little bit.
Absolutely. The guy's 177 pounds. I mean, you run him up the middle there, you can't do that very often. You may have a quick trap up there where his quickness will get him up and through that hole, but most of the other times, if it's single blocking, that's not what you want to do. 10 carries for 33 yards for Milburn.
Their receivers to right, Carswell, tight end left on second down and 8 from the 36 of Kansas City. Elway retreats into the pocket. Dumps it off late. Passes tipped, nearly intercepted by Dan Saliamua. That big Samoan left hand was up and tipped it. It flew up in the air. Saliamua dove for the ball but couldn't catch up with it.
He was actually getting back, helping in pass defense a little bit because the blitz was on. Anthony Davis was blitzing. And Saliamua, his athletic ability, he was saying he was a great basketball player at one time. He said he was great in baseball. He was the backstop.
How about Elway's numbers?
12 of 20, 129 yards.
The Chiefs have held only one team under 100-yard rushing the last 4 games. That was Oakland. Today they've done it to Denver. 5 seconds on the play clock for Denver on 3rd and 8 at the Chief 36. Denver has to call timeout because they were nearing a delay of game penalty. Let's take the break. This is the Kansas City Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
Chiefs fans, here's big news from Whirlpool.
But it's a dogfight. 5:20 left to go, third quarter. Chiefs 14, Broncos 7.
How much longer can they shut them down on third down? They are 0-6 today on third downs for the Denver Broncos. Chiefs defense going to hope to make it 0 of 7.
Bill Grigsby working on his Western Union ticker over there, trying to get scores.
And it's now 17-12. Dallas is behind the Giants.
Amazing. Out of the shotgun. Denver has 3rd and 8 at the 36 of Kansas City. Miller, Pritchard, McCaffrey, the 3 wide receivers. Milburn in motion left. Out of the gun, Elway to throw, steps up, dumps it off late, finds McCaffrey. He is nailed at the 32 for just a gain of 4. Great coverage by Anthony Davis and Darren Anderson for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I see Elway back. You see him shuffling his feet back there. He looks like he's real antsy back there. Instead of generally used to see him to pass, get back, get set, look around, and fire that ball.
Now,
that time was kind of floating out there.
Jason Elam is on to kick. This will be a 49-yard field goal. He tried a 66-yarder last week at Houston. He missed that one, but kicked a 56-yarder, his career high. And this kick is up a line drive boot that angles right to left and is over the crossbar. 3 points for the Denver Broncos.
Offense of the Chiefs had better get things rolling here. I said they shut them out. It's 0 for 7 on third down, but still now they got 10 points. They don't have much offense. But the thing is, shocked the Chiefs just before halftime when they stole the ball from Steve Bono and scored a touchdown. So offensively for Kansas City, they better get things geared up here. Get rolling. 4:37 remaining here in this third quarter.
For Jason Elam, his 28th field goal of the season. 28 of 34 now. Second in the NFL only to Norm Johnson of Pittsburgh.
So you letting these guys, you did put them away. They had them down 14-0. They put another score on the board that might have put them away. But now there's new life. A 4-point game right now.
And for Jason Elam, a 49-yard field goal. And Kansas City has not taken advantage of the field position problems Denver has had in this half.
Denver's had to travel a long way. Kansas City's had the best of it as far as field position is concerned.
7-play, 56-yard drive. Also on Bill Grigsby's ticker, we have this score, San Diego and Indianapolis. What do you got on the ticker there, Bill?
Well, it's San Diego 14-10. That's a big one for both of those teams, Indianapolis in particular, since Miami got beat today.
Buffalo did hang on to beat Miami 23-20.
And they are playing in Indianapolis, are they not?
Right.
They are. The RCA Dome. Kick away by Elam. Deep kick. Taken by Leroy Thompson at the 2. Heads outside the right hash. 15-yard line to 20. Leroy Thompson outside at the 25-yard line. 30. Amaric Vanover injured. Not playing today, but Leroy Thompson's done this before. He was a returner for the Steelers and the Patriots. Randy Hilliard forced him out on the right side, or on the left sideline.
All right, you get Greg Hill still in the ball game along with Kimball Anders. Steve Bono, of course, at quarterback. So the offense going to have to get something generated here to move that football. Because you can keep Elway down for a long time, but not forever. I mean, he still has that gun.
The only touchdown Denver has today is a defensive touchdown. Are you saying this is an important drive?
I'd say it's time to get it geared up.
Greg Hills in the running back spot. Bono throws to the right side. Wide open. Chris Penn tiptoes on the right sideline and out of bounds at the Denver 43-yard line. Ray Crockett was 5 yards from the intended receiver, Chris Penn.
Go after him. That's the thing. The little sideline pattern over there, and he was wide open. He had the defensive back completely turned around.
Man, talk about a deep zone.
See, you watch the safeties out there. They're shifting around also just before the snap. They're moving around out there.
14.
Get them out of that is go on a quick count.
14-10. The Chiefs lead the Broncos. 4:09 left to go third quarter. Hill stays in as a lone setback. He'll get the call here, trying the left side. Between the center and the left guard, he runs hard up to the 47-yard line and picks up 5 yards on first down. Tackled by Alan Aldridge.
I was happy to see him put both hands around that ball because it looked like the ball was getting ready to slide out of there. And he had that experience Monday night against the Miami Dolphins of fumbling the football.
Not a lot of carries against Oakland. Not a lot of carries Monday night. But it's out there right now.
He made the mistake of fumbling early against Miami. He didn't see him until late in the game.
And didn't have a get-out-of-jail-free card. Handoff to... Or rather, fake handoff. Bono throws the quick slant. Now the ball flies free. Fumbled by Lake Dawson. Recovered by Atwater. They're going to rule Lake Dawson down at the 40-yard line of Denver. And Kansas City just got a gigantic break.
Did they ever on that play? That was a play pass and a quick slant in from the right side by Lake Dawson. It was a good throw by Steve Bono.
13-yard pickup. The official still conferring. The head linesman is involved in this discussion, and his name.
Completed. The player was down by contact.
Down by
the ball
contact.
came loose. First down.
Who are you looking for?
George Hayward, the head linesman, coming in to confer with Ed Hockley. Hayward is from St. Joseph, Missouri.
Uh-oh.
I met him at training camp. First down, Kansas City at the 40-yard line of Denver. 2:58 left to go in the third quarter. Chiefs just pick up a giant break. Getting a reception and not a fumble from Lake Dawson. Bono fakes the handoff, wants to throw deep in the pocket. Looking, here comes the rush. They throw it right to Hill, makes the catch. and then gets tackled in the right flat at the 36-yard line. And for Greg Hill, only his 7th reception of the season.
Look, good hands. He looked like he had good hands making that catch. Nice soft touch there. Bono, I said, do something, because, once you hit a certain amount of time, you got to do something, because there are going to be people breathing down your throat.
Gain of 5, and a nice catch by Greg Hill in traffic. 2nd and 5 for the Chiefs at the 35-yard line of Denver. 2:18 left to go in the third quarter. Kansas City 14, Denver 10. Bono has a split in right and a flanker left. That is Lake Dawson in motion behind him. Lead play. This is Greg Hill, 35-yard line. And he lowers his shoulder, gets to the 31, a yard short of a first down. Alan Aldridge on the tackle. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Kansas City Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
Kansas City's home for classic rock and roll of the 70s and your voice of the Chiefs. 101 KCFX, the Fox.
Mitch Holthus, Len Dawson, Bill Grigsby, and Bob Brett.
Dallas took over the lead, right? 18-17.
Still have Emmett, Troy, and Michael. 3rd down and a yard at the 31. This is Greg Hill, has a nice hole to run through, and gets up to the 26-yard line of the Denver Broncos. He had the first down before he got the football.
Did you see the surge of that offensive line, just pushing that Denver Bronco defensive line backwards? I mean, all that Greg Hill had to do was just follow those big old guys up the middle.
Let's go down and hear from Bob Gretz.
Well, Mitch, they ran right behind the left guard on that play, who happens to be Danny Villa. He's been in on this series, filling in for Dave Zott. Dave's here on the sidelines. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with him, just giving him a blow. But they ran right up Danny Villa on that one.
Some fresh legs then. Villa has not played a lot.
Hill is 4 carries, 16 yards. 25 carries for the Chiefs, 123 yards.
He has most extensive action at Cleveland early in the season. Hand off to Hill. And again, he goes up the middle and gets some nice blocking. And a 1st and 10 play from the 26 gets down to the Bronco 23-yard line. Atwater and Braxton there for the Chiefs.
Nothing fancy, is it? Just bang them straight ahead. Go right after those people. Try to wear them down. You got 30 seconds remaining here in the third period. Hopefully they wear these people down, get some points on the scoreboard. In the fourth quarter, they'll own them.
I think the operative word here is smash mouth. 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter. 14-10, the Chiefs lead the Broncos. 2nd and 8 for Kansas City at the 24, the Denver football team. Out of the split backs, Bono rolling right, now throws right, finds Cash, the tight end, and he's forced out of bounds at the 20-yard line, short of a first down. Tyrone Braxton, the strong safety, does a nice job of holding Cash short of a first down.
All right, they got 6 seconds remaining on the clock here in the third period, but that thing has been open. That has been open. It's like that counter trade. Don't forget about those plays. Don't save them for next week.
And the Chiefs are going to let the clock tick down and have a chance to talk on the sideline about their first play of the fourth quarter, as Bono walks over to the sideline to have a conference with Marty Schottenheimer. Stadium.
Total yards, Denver 181, Kansas City 309. Kansas City ranks 4th in the NFL in rushing, averaging 136 yards a game. Today, 26 carries, 130 yards for Kansas City.
3rd down and 4 for the Kansas City Chiefs at the 19 of the Denver Broncos. Kimball Anders, the lone setback behind the left tackle, John Alt. Long count by Bono. Looking left, out pattern. Pass is incomplete. Leroy Thompson, the intended receiver, trying to hang on to the ball as he went to the ground. The ball was released from his hands. Steve Atwater covering for Denver, and a huge field goal try coming up.
That was a big play. At that particular time, they had a slot formation. The inside guy was a running back, Thompson, a little drag-out pattern, and he had to dive out there, try to make the catch, didn't come up with it. So, for Lynn Elliott, time to redeem himself.
Yes, sir. The ball will be placed down at the 27-yard line, a 37-yard kick. Louis Aguiar to hold. Elliott, 20 field goals this year. The placement is down. Elliott's kick, a line drive boot, and the kick is partially blocked, and it is no good. And let's go to a break. The Denver Broncos, who blocked a field goal of Elliott's last year here in this stadium, and a bad snap on the play as well. Let's go to a break. A bad snap by Danny Villa leads to a missed field goal.
Yes.
I don't know, did anybody block it? It looks like it might have been partially blocked.
It was the defensive end, Dronet.
And he's the guy that blocked it last year.
Oh, he was?
Yep, same dude. Anyway, At the 28-yard line is Elway. 14-10 Chiefs. Elway looking for the quick slant. Finds Anthony Miller. And is nailed by Hasty, but has a gain to the 34-yard line for a gain of 6. Quick slant. Hasty shut down Miller all day. Now John Elway starting to look for him.
Well, he's the guy to go to because he has that tremendous speed. He is the type of guy that can break a game open right now. A little slant like that. How many times have you seen Jerry Rice catch one like that and tip right up the middle?
14:25 left to go in the game. Chiefs 14, Broncos 10. Denver has the only second half points. Aaron Craig with a lone setback. On 2nd and 4, Elway looking left once again. Finds Miller on the near sideline, then gets popped by Derek Thomas. Short of a first down, it appears, depending on the spot, at the 36-yard line. That time kind of a...
Haven't mentioned Derek's name a whole lot.
No,
now
sir.
that I think about it. I noticed one time here in the last quarter when he was chasing one of those running backs that he was not running with the speed that we're accustomed to seeing.
3rd down and 1 for Denver.
0 of 7 on 3rd down.
Two-back set. Pritchard comes in motion toward Elway. There is movement, and I think the right tackle of the Denver Broncos moved. Anthony Davis pointing at him. So is...
Von Booker's pointing at him. They're all pointing at him.
Bill Grigsby's pointing at him.
Why are you pointing at me?
And it was...
Full start by the offense, number 76. Prior to the snap.
It's amazing that these players, they know officiating. They know everything, don't they?
Yes, sure.
They're quick to point a finger.
Broderick Thompson, a 10th-year veteran out of Kansas. Former Jayhawk, now with the Broncos, was with Philadelphia for a long time, called for the penalty.
And it changes the play because now you're going to 3rd and long. And we mentioned that the Broncos, I believe, are 0 for 7 on 3rd down situations.
Now it's 3rd and 6. 6 defensive backs for the Chiefs. Darren Anderson is playing that stack linebacker spot with Bayless being out of the lineup today. Out of the shotgun is Elway. Retreats into the pocket further. Throwing long. Trying to burn the one to Milburn. Reaching out. It's incomplete. Darren Anderson was with him step for step. Anderson has been called on to make big plays today to the 4-6 defense. He was there again.
And thank goodness that Anderson didn't put his hand or hands on that receiver because the official is standing right there and that yellow flag would have come out. So they are now 0 for 8 on 3rd down situations, the Denver Broncos.
7th punt of the afternoon that has turned into evening here in Kansas City now. 42-yard average by Tom Ruin. Back deep is Chris Penn for the Chiefs.
Nice kick.
High booming kick again, taken by Penn, backpedaling at the 21, stops and got blasted.
Man, there's a yellow flag out as well. That means that's going to be on Kansas City for illegal block. They didn't block anybody.
There were 5 guys around Chris Penn who got blocked. 4.38 hang time.
Kansas City Chiefs.
A light drizzle now has started to fall here at Arrowhead Stadium. Plus the temperature now right around the freezing mark, just above freezing. 13-11 left to go in the game. Chiefs 14, Broncos 10. Steve Bono has Allen in motion. To the left flat. Bono to throw, looking right all the way. Dumps it for Dawson on an out route. He makes the catch and a flag thrown as well. Dawson hauls it in at the 23-yard line, a gain of 10 yards.
Penalty might be on Lake Dawson.
Ray Crockett was covering for the Chiefs.
A little pushing.
It is offensive pass interference on Lake Dawson of Kansas City. Let's go down to the sidelines. Bob, Danny Villa stays into play, left guard.
Yes, Mitch, they're now saying that Dave Zott has a left hand injury. It's been x-rayed. He's back here on the field. If there's anything real serious, I don't think he'd be back out here, but they're saying left hand injury now to Dave Zott.
And Bob, the most serious thing right now is the predicament the Chiefs are in after the penalty.
Yeah, well, they've certainly got themselves in a bad position here, and they just showing the replay here, and I don't know about that one.
Yeah, he pushed.
You're allowed to push, Len.
First,
not when an official standing right next to you, though.
Half the distance penalty. 1st and 16 for the Chiefs from their own 7-yard line. They lead 14-10. Dawson and Penn are the 2 receivers. Bono takes the snap from Grunhard. Marcus Allen trying to read a hole up the middle. Has nowhere to go. In fact, he loses yardage. Maybe forward motion to the 6. They'll mark it between the 5 and 6. And old Simon Fletcher just hangs around this league, made a play for Denver.
Well, I'll tell you, there was a bunch of Denver Bronco people right there at the point where they were trying to run that football. Bono is 18 for 31, 192 yards. He's hit 9 different receivers in the game.
Most of the time, he's thrown to the right side of the field.
He better find another receiver here pretty quick, second and long.
Second down and 17 at the 6. Their own. They lead 14-10. Bono takes the snap. Will throw from his own end zone off play action. Throws over the middle. Blake Dawson holds it in this time. And is nailed at the 24-yard line. And for Kansas City, it looks like a first down, a gain of 18 yards. Ray Crockett on the tackle.
Boy, that was a good throw by Steve Bono. There was the shot, and there was the area in the middle. That was what you call a little square in by Lake Dawson, driving strong down the field to about 17 or 18 yards and breaking it sharply across the field, and he was open with an excellent throw by Steve Bono.
First down, Chiefs with 11:33 left to go in the game. 14-10 Kansas City. Cash and Walker both in as tight ends. Handoff Allen up the middle. Can't get to the left side. Same plays they ran 2 plays ago, and the same result, a loss of 1. Steve Atwater coming up strong.
They're blitzing from both sides. They're coming from the outside. Atwater on one side, the linebacker on the other side. There is nowhere for him to go if the hole is not up the middle. So the Broncos are taking some chances. Why not? They've got to try to find a way to win to stay in the playoff picture. So they've been blitzing a lot more in the second half than they did in the first half.
Sigler in at right tackle via the left guard. Tim Grunhart grabbing the football with that right hand, making the line calls. Walker steps off. He's a wing left, comes in motion right. Bono with a hard count.
Here they come
on
again.
2nd and 11. Here comes the blitz. Bono rolls away from one man, throws late. Pass is caught by Dawson. Cradles the ball and goes down at the 31. He will get forward motion to the 31. Gain of 7. It'll be 3rd and 4. The pass was caught in traffic with Ray Crockett right on his back.
Good scrambling by Steve Bono because the blitz was on once again. Aldridge, the linebacker, almost had it, but he was able to avoid him and get the ball off. But you got to anticipate when you see it this consistently with the blitz. You got to anticipate these things.
And again, I want to ask you this: it looks like Steve Bono throws better on the run than when he's back in the pocket. Could that be?
It could be because you just react, and that's what he needs to do: react and play football.
3rd down and 3 for the Chiefs at their own 32-yard line. Bono, quick slant left. Slaughter holds it in. First down, Kansas City at its own 39-yard line. Tough catch in front of Eric Thomas, and Webster Slaughter waves his right hand upfield. So does the official. First down, Kansas City.
Another excellent throw by Steve Bono, and it was a good route by Webster Slaughter. He just didn't go in there right now. He took it down the field several steps before he broke it to the inside, and that separated him from that cornerback.
9:32 left to go in the game. 14-10 Chiefs. Hill and Andrews are now the setbacks in an offset eye. Willie Davis, flanker to the right side. Up the middle it goes to Greg Hill. And a quick burst of speed. He's up to the 50-yard line. A gain of 10 yards. Right by Dave Wyman, who eventually then made the tackle.
They're trying to tackle the football now, and Greg Hill is out there playing to the crowd, but he ought to be thinking and concentrating on holding on to that football. Because they see the films. They know what happens, that he has coughed up the football this year. So the most important thing right now is to protect that thing.
That's a great point. I rarely see Marcus Allen ever do anything like that.
He doesn't do anything. He's
back
thinking about the next play.
Sweep play left side to Hill. Cuts up inside at the 45-yard line. And on first down, gains 6 yards to the Bronco 44. 8:42 left to go in the game. Clock moving. 14-10. The Chiefs lead the Broncos.
12 catches by the wideouts this week compared to 5 last week. We got Dawson has 5 catches, Hughes 1, Davis 1, Slaughter 4, Penn 1. So they're spreading it around to the wide receivers and stretching out that defense, which is the important thing.
Glenn Cadrez, Alan Aldridge made the tackle for a beat-up linebacking core of Denver. Second down, let's call it 4 for the Chiefs at the 44 of Denver. Chiefs drive started at the 13-yard line their own. Bono. They fake the counter. They throw near side. They find Cash the tight end at the 40. Springs off, hits of the Broncos and tries to stretch forward to the 39. They mark him down right at the 40. It is close to a first down. Dave Wyman.
Where they spot that. They did not give him a great spot. Did not give them a great spot. So it looks like it's going to be short. Joe Valerio coming into the ball game reporting as an eligible receiver.
In essence,
see what kind of play they come up with. I remember that Miami game. They had 4, short yardage situations, couldn't make anything. They got all the big guys in there bunched up tight.
Tony Richardson is the fullback in this game. Donnell Bennett is inactive. It was just the opposite on Monday night. Power play. Marcus Allen right side. Squirts through a hole. He's got a first down at the 37 of Denver. Jeff Robinson made the tackle, but the Chiefs are in business now at the 37 of Denver.
And he followed Richardson in the hole. He was the key blocker there at the point of attack, and Marcus just followed him to pick up the first down. The important thing about this drive is that clock. It is now down to 7 minutes left in the ball game. First down, so they keep grinding this out on the ground if they can do that. But they must anticipate now that Denver's going to stack up. They're going to have an 8-man front down there on first down.
Greg Hill stays in the game as a tailback. 14-10, the Chiefs lead by 4. 6:45 left to go in the game.
Here they come.
Tight end right side is Cash. Again, it goes up the middle to Greg Hill, and he is swallowed up at the 40. It's a loss of 2. James Jones, who they picked up along with Michael Dean Perry from Cleveland, was right there waiting on Hill.
There they are. You know, first down situation. They must do something, Mitch, to try to create a turnover or to stop this drive, so they're going to go with an 8-man front, particularly on first down.
Giants have retaken the lead over Dallas.
They have?
Yeah, they're 20-18. They're leading now.
In Dallas.
Yes, and San Diego has taken a bigger lead. They're leading 21-13 over Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis.
The AFC West is tough. The Chiefs are already the champions of the West. Nobody in the division has a losing record. Back to throw is Bono. Dumps it off on the near flat. He finds Andrews. On second down and 11, Kimball is up to the 37-yard line. Contained just a couple. Glenn Cadrez does a nice job of covering Andrews in the right flat.
They're looking for a safe pass, completion so the clock continues to tick away. But now they're coming into a 3rd and long. They're going to have to get this ball down the field.
Marcus Allen was saying he was open. He lined up as a wide receiver.
This is that same John Elway that Marty Schottenheimer has looked at for the last several years, both in Cleveland and here.
Much too often.
Kansas City is 8 of 15 on 3rd down.
3rd and 9 at the Denver 37 for Bono.
Here they come.
Short drop, fade route, left side, holding it up for Slaughter, and the pass is overthrown, incomplete. Slaughter was looking over his right shoulder. The ball went over his left shoulder because Bono had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Yeah, I said you have to anticipate blitzing. What else are they going to do? They have to. They got to try to create something out there. That also gets into the play calling, that you get in there, that you can get maximum protection. And now you got man-to-man coverage with the whole field to travel on with no help on the inside.
Now Louis Aguirre will punt. Back is Glenn Milbert, who last week had 404 all-purpose yards.
He's got 1 return for 2 yards today.
He broke the record set by Billy Cannon against the old famous team, the New York Titans. Kick away by Aguirre. Fair catch called for by Milburn. Takes it in at the 10. Danon Hughes and Richardson there just in case. 27-yard punt, but that's what the Chiefs wanted. And the Broncos will take over at their own 10-yard line. 5:12 left to go in the game. You can hear behind us the fans doing the chop. 14-10, the Chiefs hanging on against the Broncos.
John Elway, 15 of 24, 144 yards, but contained this guy, and we've seen him so many times in situations like this. Milburn last week, 18 carries, 131 yards. Today, 10 carries, 33 yards.
Elway, 3 wide receivers, 29 times. He has led the Broncos to 4th quarter game-winning drives in his career. Throws over the middle. He finds Craver, the fullback, who goes down at the 15, a gain of 10, or rather 5 on 1st and 10. Tracy Simeon there. 29 4th quarter winning drives. 6, count them 6, have been against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Number 90, Neil Smith, has not been out there. He's a great pass rusher. They don't have him, and this is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try to find a way to put some heat on John Elway.
Booker, Mickle, Phillips, Saliamua on the defensive front. Elway to throw, looking left all the way. Quick slant, fires to Pritchard, who hauls it in, and he can spin to a stop at the 24. It's a first down for Denver. On the tackle for the Chiefs, Brian Washington was there for Kansas City along with James Hastings.
And they moved the change. 4:25 counting down. First down for John Elway and company. You know what he's going to do. He's going to be firing this ball.
The missed field goal of 37 yards looms large now as well. 14-10, Chiefs lead the Broncos nervously here. 4:09 left to go in the game. Out of the offset eye, in motion to the right side, Glenn Milbert. Long count by Elway. Back in the pocket, sets up, has all kinds of time. Now throws late, pass broken up. Great defensive play by the Kansas City Chiefs in front of Anthony Miller. James Hasty was there to knock the ball away.
I wish he was thinking about intercepting it, though, instead of knocking it away, because he jumped in front of him. Looked like he might have had a shot at coming up with the interception. And as I looked down there, had he intercepted it, look at that. Nothing down there. Been a touchdown, an easy one.
Indianapolis is now tied San Diego. They went for two and got it.
It's an arm wrestling match. They both need that game. Now it is 2nd down and 10 for the Broncos at the 25-yard line, their own. Elway. Quick pass right side at the 33-yard line, complete to Milburn, a gain of 8 on 2nd down and 10. He was hit immediately by Mark Collins, who kicks the ground in disgust.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You get him as quick as he is, and they spread him out like a wide. He's like a wide receiver. With that type of quickness and that type of speed, who do you put on him? You can't put a linebacker on him because a linebacker could not stay with him.
Brian Washington was also there for the Chiefs.
This is a 3rd down play. They may run this because this is 4-down territory for the Denver Broncos.
3 wide receivers in motion. Right is Craver. No backs behind Elway. Quarterback draw. And Elway trying to get the first down. He gets pounded. Darren Mickle held him up. And then somebody laid a shoulder pad right on John Elway. It depends on his forward motion. He fumbled on a play in Denver similar to that.
Yes, I do recall that. But I say they considering this 4-down territory because with 3 minutes left in this football game and their situation in the standings, they got to go for it.
Simeon put a big hit on John Elway. Now it is 4th down, Len Dawson. 2:50 left to go in the game.
They got to go for it.
4th down in the yard for the Denver Broncos at their own 34-yard line. 2:44 left to go in the game. Elway under center has Craver just to his left. 3 wide receivers set. Craver in motion right to the tight end side. Elway quarterback sneak again. He's got a first down. He picks up 4 yards up to the 38-yard line.
I don't understand why more teams don't really do that, because what you're doing is spreading out that defense. When you spread out a wide receiver, he's being blocked because that takes a defensive man with him. And the one guy you got to be concerned about is the middle linebacker. Instead of going straight ahead, Elway came around off the guard's block to pick up the first down.
Gary Zimmerman made a giant block for the Denver Broncos. Aaron Craver, the lone setback. Elway to throw, looking right, being chased. He's hit, the ball flies free. The ball's free. And Vaughn Booker's got it. Rolls inside the 10. Spins off a man. Touchdown, 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 Kansas City. Vaughn Booker. The defense does it again for the Kansas City Chiefs. Forcing a turnover, getting a touchdown.
Did you notice what he did first is make sure he got the fumble recovery? And then when he was able to get up and run, he even put on a couple of moves down there on those people. He was not going to be denied getting into the end zone.
Vaughn Booker may be returning kicks next week. What a play. And a guy that's waited his turn to play in this league. 27 years old, only his 2nd year in the league. 2 years in the Army, 2 years in the Canadian Football League, and his biggest play of his career has helped the Kansas City Chiefs take a 20-10 lead. And now Lynn Elliott will try the point after. Can you believe the defense and the plays they've done this season?
Think about it all year, yes.
It is a scrapbook. And now Louis Aguiar throws the football right, and the pass is broken up. A fake field goal or a muff snap. And the Chiefs lead 20-10. A bad snap. It was picked up by Louis Aguiar, and he tried to make something happen and threw it away. And now the Chiefs are having problems with snaps. 1:52 left to go in the game. Chiefs 20, Broncos 10. Now this on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
Atmospheric.
Sam Eldred of Kansas City, Missouri is this week's Sonic winning drive-in winner. He wins 2 tickets to next week's game at Arrowhead Stadium. If the Chiefs have a winning touchdown in the next 2 minutes of regular play, he registers for a new Ford Explorer. See participating stores for details. Sonic drive-in for a change. Glenn Milburn takes the kick, heads to the right side, has blockers in front of him, now turns to his left and almost breaks into the open field. He was tackled at the 37-yard line by Darren Anderson.
Denver has averaged 402 yards of offense over the last 6 games. Today, 194. It shows you how well the Chiefs defense is playing out there.
Clock is at 1:42 left to go in the game. The Chiefs lead the Broncos 20-10 on another massive defensive play for a touchdown by the Chiefs.
How many times here at Arrowhead this year? You know, you had
Hasty,
the punt return back for a touchdown. You had Hasty for a touchdown.
Collins fumble.
Collins returned for a touchdown.
And now Von Booker joins the party. The throw is Elway. Over the middle, finds Milburn. Pass is dropped. And a flag has been thrown. It may be holding on Denver. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
101 KCFX, Harrisonville, Kansas City. Your radio home of the Chiefs and classic rock and roll of the 70s.
Mitch Holthus, Len Dawson, Bill Grigsby, Bob Gretz. 1:34 left in the game. Chiefs 20, Broncos 10.
Derek Thomas is saying holding. They were holding Derek Thomas on that last play. Of course, when they're passing, he's down in a three-point stance playing that defensive right end position.
Illegal hands to the face now.
Yeah, I go back to the depth that the Chiefs have. You know, you're missing Neil Smith, one of their top defensive players out there because of injury. He hasn't played the second half. And you've got the Mickle coming up with the hit. And then Von Booker coming up with the fumble recovery. And it was after that. I mean, he is going to be strutting and just bragging all kind of ways because when the spin move that he had and
great
all that.
spin move. Don't you think, though, everybody goes, how are the Chiefs 11-3 and could be? It's the depth that has been probably the biggest thing.
It's the big plays that they've come up with.
6 defensive backs for the Chiefs. 1st and 20 after the penalty for the Broncos. They dump it off in the left flat to Milburn. Puts on a great move. Cuts back to his right 35-yard line. Finally bracketed and tackled by the Chiefs at the 42. Again at 16 yards. James Hasty, Darren Anderson there for Kansas City. Now it's time with the timeout on the field. 1:22 left in the game. The gridiron, according to Bill Grigsby.
Well, you can see the boat coming in. Captain D's. Talked to more people this week that are enjoying their Christmas holidays at Captain D's. They're having their Christmas dinner at Captain D's, and you can too.
He leads 20-10. 1:22 left to go in the game. Elway out of the shotgun, steps up into the pocket, pumps long, now throws short. And he finds Craver at the 49-yard line. Has a first down for the Broncos. Clock moving at 1:12. Tackled by Anthony Davis.
See, here, do you remember Marcus Allen before the half? Got the yardage and got out of bounds. Now, here's a guy right here. What does he think? The clock is, against him. They only have a one timeout remaining. He should have gotten out of bounds.
He's thinking the game is over.
Broncos dump it off to Craver. Let's see if he does it this time. No, he cuts upfield. And he goes down in bounds at the 39. James Hasty waving his arm saying, keep that clock moving.
Oh, geez.
Now the Broncos trying to line up without a huddle. And quickly, let's go to an NFL update. Here's Bill Grigsby.
Well, if you'll let me have it, I'll do it.
You just had
We'll
one.
let you
The
have
Giants 20, Dallas 18, late in the fourth period. That would be Barry Switzer is reading the want ad columns right now. 20-18. Jerry Jones is throwing up, and everyone's happy down in Dallas, Texas tonight. San Diego 21, Indianapolis 21 late in that game as Indianapolis came back and tried for 2 points, made it. So there's a lot, and tonight.
Oakland,
Seattle.
Oh, what are they playing for?
AFC West.
The World Bantam Champions. What is that? How many heavyweight champions are there?
Oakland's still in the hunt.
Well, they're in the hunt, all right.
They're in the hunt, all right.
But they're already talking about maybe this is the last year for Mike White as a coach. That's what they said
today. Are they
today.
saying that now?
Who said that?
Al Davis said it.
Oh, if Al said it, then you can rely. Elway, 21-31, 204 yards.
And his 32nd pass attempt will come from the 38-yard line of the Chiefs. Elway throwing to the near sideline to Anthony Miller. He gets out of bounds.
Yes.
After a gain of 12.
They have no timeouts remaining.
40 seconds left to go in the game. Chiefs 20, Broncos 10.
Elway's got to get into the end zone. He's got to get it down in the end zone.
First down for the Broncos at the 27.
We'll take a look and see the defensive backs where they line up.
And
how deep they are. They are deep.
And the Denver Football Club is out of timeouts. On first down, Elway looks to the near sideline, throws it short, skips a rock to Anthony Miller. It's incomplete.
See, the defensive backs for Kansas City, they're just trying to funnel everything in front of them, hopefully funnel it inside. That time, Miller was open. It's just a bad throw by John Elway, skipping it out there.
Neil Smith.
But they're going to let him do that. They're going to let him catch the short stuff and make the tackle.
Neil Smith hurt, didn't play in the second half. Didn't have Martin Bayless today. Jamison out. And yet this team continues to make giant plays. Second down and 10 for the Broncos. At the 27, a pass whizzing over the middle, and Anthony Miller makes a beautiful catch on a deep pattern over the middle at the 4-yard line of Kansas City. That's why he's in the Pro Bowl.
Whoa, what a catch. 24-yard gain. Elway may spike the ball just to stop the clock. He does.
Which he does, and stops the clock at 17 seconds.
17 seconds. So they'll go. They got 3 shots to go into the end zone. That's where that extra point, man, 20 to 10, 10-point lead. The extra point was big.
Huge. And I wasn't sure the Chiefs had a fake on or not. It looked like the snap.
I know that they watched him in training camp work on a fake field goal and extra point.
Second down, goal to go with the 3 for the Broncos. Elway looking right, dumps it late. Mike Pritchard reaches up. He's got a touchdown. Denver won't go away. A touchdown by the Broncos with 12 seconds left to go in the game. Burning Dale Carter 9.5 yards deep in the end zone.
All gets down to the onside kick that will be coming up right after the extra point attempt.
Well, you know, even the onside, he'll have about, let me count this out, 5 seconds for the kick. He will have 7 seconds to do something with it.
All he needs is one throw down.
Leonard, now look, let's be positive about this. We're going to win this football game, and everybody's going away from here happy tonight. Don't kick your dog, partner.
Jason Elam kicks the point after. 12 seconds left to go in the game. Chiefs 20, Broncos 17.
Now, how important was that play by Von Booker and Mickle to come up with a touchdown?
I think massive.
Well, you know, they might have played a little different defense, so, Leonard, don't you think?
Yeah, because they were conceding, you know, the short stuff.
Well, they wanted him to use some time on the clock, and they did. They used the time down. They conceded the short stuff. Let them have it. All you want to do is come out of here with a win.
I don't want to bring up bad news here, but in 1989, John Elway beat the Chiefs with 1 second on the clock.
What is wrong with you two guys?
In 1990 at Denver, the next year, Denver, Elway beat Kansas City, no time on the clock.
You could go around the country ruining Christmases.
We don't have anything
I'm
to do
just
what
saying.
happens down there, Bill. We're just reporting. And I want to report to you about this Dallas-New York Giant game. Can you believe this?
What is it?
At the buzzer, a field goal. Dallas wins it 21-20.
You're kidding, at the buzzer?
At the buzzer.
Oh.
Whatever the buzzer, you know.
Well, that saved a lot of heartache down in Barry Switzerville.
That guy can really coach, you know?
The Giants are not a good football team.
All right, here's the hands team for the Chiefs.
All right.
Hughes, Slaughter.
Let's get this game over with.
Cash, Chris Penn, James Hasty, Leroy Thompson, William White, Derek Walker, Lake Dawson. 9 men up. Close, anticipating this onside kick by Jason Elam. The onside kick goes to the right side, flies up in the air. It is covered up by Kansas City. Leroy Thompson covers it up with 8 seconds left to go in the game. One more snap as Dale Carter flings his helmet in glee. 20-17, the Chiefs lead with 8 seconds left in the game.
In glee? I don't think he's in glee.
Oh.
I think he's still hurting about that touchdown pass down there because he was the guy that was defending the, who was it, Pritchard that caught it?
Pritchard, yeah.
That's probably in glee.
He ought to be happy. He ought to be happy, though.
Should be extremely happy that it's over.
He looks like a gleeful young man.
Yeah.
Have yourself a Merry, Merry Christmas.
Football at the 40-yard line. Chiefs just need to snap it, go to a knee, and end the deal. And I see that big giant broom coming sweeping
and you're
out
on
of the
it.
sky. I am, in fact. They go to a knee, and listen to me closely. For the first,
closely here.
Listen to this.
Closely.
For the first time since 1980, the Arrowhead broom is out, sweeping away the Broncos. As the Chiefs say bye-bye to the Broncos, they keep one of the byes for themselves for the playoffs. 12 wins. Only twice in the great history of this franchise had the Chiefs won 12 games in a regular season. 1968, 1995. The Chiefs do it with a 20-17 victory over the Denver Broncos.
Next week is more important because it's going to be for home field advantage for the entire. Because you can't expect the Steelers to lose. You don't anticipate that. They're going up to Green Bay, but Kansas City controls everything. They've got it all right in their hands.